Okay.
Alright, chatty chat. I am
Right.
gonna.
Tweet's gone out. Discord's gone out. I'll check
Okay, then
the
I'm gonna
stream.
retweet this. Quote tweet. Oh, frick off.
Brilliant. Great start to the stream by swearing.
Ah.
Right, it says we're live, so that's cool. Good. Okay, Loosey Goosey News Day. Brilliant.
Loosey Goosey Newsy Day.
Oh, yes. Sorry. It only flashed up for a second before an ad came up, so. I don't want extensions. Hurry up.
I'm trying to think of something witty.
Stupid. I've got 2 adverts for some reason. I don't know why.
Because you need to sub to your own stream.
It does say that I need to, so I probably should.
It's like subathon in September or something.
Sorry?
It's like subathon. Sounds like Sabathoon. Subathon September. Yeah. I think it's like cheaper. Subs are cheaper.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I mean, I've got my Prime anyway, so.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. You gotta remind me of that. Okay, and then the link is in the thing. Okay.
Done it. I'm not going to post it out, obviously, because I don't want self-gratification, but you know.
Oh, man. It probably came up, and I missed it.
Oh, well. Right. I have on mute my Discord. Oh, it's gone out on Discord, I guess, as well. The back note.
Yep. It has. Shows it did.
Yes. That was the other thing that's supposed to bring up. I need to bring up the Twitch chat over here. I don't know if there's anything coming in at the moment, but there might be. How are you doing? Oh, Bueno. Bueno has joined us.
Yay, Bueno.
How you doing? How is your Sunday so far? Good, sir.
So it's a truly sunny day. You are.
It's a shame he doesn't live in Philadelphia, because otherwise I could have made that joke.
Oh, ha.
Yeah. Guess we should probably do some talking at some point so I can actually do a test recording and be engaging to our audience.
I guess so. I'm engaging this wine.
There's no change there. Good Sunday. Let's call it a day. We've already. He said I slept in. Forecast is clouds, rain, and thunderstorms. Oh. Well, how's the weather been usually? Hot, ridiculously hot. May need it.
Yeah, because what is it like in September? Because I know in Texas, September is still roasting hot. It's actually hot until December.
It's always hot.
It's always hot when I'm there.
Very funny.
That's a joke.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, my life is sad. I actually thought Lynn might join us in the chat.
She may do at some point. Depends on whether or not she's trying to get some rest. About to cool things off a bit, he says. That's nice.
Yeah. That's what happened here yesterday. It finally rained after a month of just blistering heat. Well, blistering Irish heat. And then...
Yeah, blistering, a 19-degree heat.
No, and it was 21. It got all the way up to 21. But it rained, and It was amazing. I went to the ocean when it rained.
Nice.
What can you do?
I think I saw that picture on Twitter.
Yeah. It was still beautiful, though. I mean, because, rainy, stormy skies are pretty.
Well, yeah, it's Ireland. It's always nice there, regardless of the weather.
I was driving to the gym the other day, because that's what I do. That's all I do now. And then we have several mountain ranges, but particularly we have this one called Cave Hill, and it was in the foreground when I was driving, and I was just like, I live in the most beautiful place on earth. I really, really do. Ireland is never not beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas has beautiful parts. Texas has some really ugly parts, too.
Ugly.
But Ireland is just beautiful, all square footage.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same as the UK, I guess. You have some really outstanding areas. I don't want to give away my position where I live in the UK, but it is known as an area of, natural beauty, basically, which is really nice. It's on my doorstep.
Yeah, see, exactly. Oh, yeah, because you've sent pictures when you go on your walks.
That's not even the best of it, really. I haven't even gone up some of the hills and some of those sort of areas. So
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, probably should venture a bit further out and show you some of those ones, because they're a lot more interesting. There's even a vineyard nearby.
Oh, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's as far away as I'm giving away my location.
Yeah, because there aren't very many there, Pete. You can narrow that down quite quick.
Oh, I know, but that's also a couple of towns over from me, so it's not exactly close. First time chat from a viewer. Hello. From Kitch Plays. Lurking at the moment, I'll be joining soon. No problem. Enjoy.
Yay.
Thank you for saying hello.
Hello.
They will be recording soon anyway, so we'll be interacting with the chat on a little bit of a less basis, I guess, but we'll come to that as we discuss news stories.
Yes. Although this is still a little bit loosey-goosey.
Well, for the moment, yeah, of course. Yeah. I forgot I was doing a test record in the background, Jesus.
Oh, thanks, Pete. Do you want me to keep talking?
No, it's been running for the last 3 minutes.
Oh! So, yeah. That's not a test. Okay. That's background, or behind the scenes footage.
Yes, of course. Hang on a second. I'll be back. Please be entertaining for at least 30 seconds.
Always entertaining.
I know, but please try to be.
Okay, I will put forth effort this time. Does anyone want to hear me sing karaoke? I actually really do. I want to sing Wanted Dead or Alive. Because that's one of my favorite songs. And it came on at the gym the other day. I was like, I could kill this. I could rock them all in karaoke. So that's my new goal. Is sing Wanted Dead or Alive. Was that entertaining? Did you enjoy that, chat?
I didn't hear a single word of it, of course, but the last thing that I heard was Dead or Alive, and it was was that entertaining? It was like, clearly. Not sure.
I want to sing Dead or Alive. You know
okay, so that's
frick, Bon Jovi song. Yeah. What does it say?
What's on the screen behind Kiley's Xbox dashboard? You'd be correct.
Yes, it's the library of the Game Pass games. I was going through it. I've had some suggestions in my inbox because
for what exactly?
For not AAA games, which was cool.
Good.
Which was Fashion Police something, and it's kind of cool, kind of interesting.
Okay, it sounds not like your kind of game, but hey.
Exactly, that's what you think, and then you see what it is, and it's like, okay, it's a boomer shooter.
Boomer shooter.
Boomer shooter.
I guess we'll be talking about more of this on the show, to be fair, because I've got games I want to discuss.
Yeah, we need to talk games today.
Yeah, I mean we are, because I've been playing through quite a few games actually recently, so I've got a lot to discuss.
I have not been playing.
Well, we have been because of obviously Fall Guys, but I mean I've got more to talk about than just Fall Guys.
There's nothing more than Fall Guys.
I have some thoughts on a few games I've been playing.
Good. I think Brent has messaged again, but I can't see it.
I did. But that's why I'm monitoring the chat
Oh.
as per everything else I usually
Yes.
do. But, no, but that's why I said I need to bring this chat up, because it's literally in my screen right in front. So I know you can't bring things up whilst you're doing the streaming. So that's why
Some
I handle
people would disagree.
it. So there's lots of indie titles on Game Pass. I've been enjoying in Tinykin. Okay, might have to give it a look. I haven't turned my Xbox on in.
Tinykin.
I wonder if I could discover how long it's been since I turned the Xbox on by the amount of dust on it.
I was gonna say, measure it like tree rings, how much layers of dust there is.
Obviously, to the observant viewers, of course, you might have noticed the PS5 is no longer behind me. I'm not going to play that gag that I sold it again.
Yeah, because
Kylie won't never believe that.
No, not now.
No, it's just located in a different part of the house at present.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to Cash Converters yesterday for...
What, to try and get a PS5 before they go up in value?
Yep. I almost did it. Okay, so first of all, for our U.S. fans, Cash Converters is a pawn shop, and I live and die for pawn shops. But
well, sometimes they're cheaper, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, sometimes. I will say this: I didn't commit to it because I don't think I'm gonna get a PlayStation, but I don't know. Options open. But they had one, and it was $499.
I mean, it's slightly above RRP.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's like, 50 quid above RRP, but in a couple of weeks,
it's gonna jump.
It's gonna jump up. So it might only be a £20 increase. I can't remember how much the increase is.
That's why I kind of backed off. Oh, and also, chat, if you can let me know if we're like clear and stuff.
I sort of checked. We're on my speaker on the phone. I can talk about that more in a bit, but it seemed okay at the beginning.
What about the graphical appearance?
The graphical. Let me take a look again. But
it looks kind of blurry to me, but that could just be my terrible camera. Because Pete, I think you look kind of clear. Apologies for this camera. I think it's time for me to get yet another camera.
Sometimes at times it does look a little washed out, but for the most part it's fine. But yeah, I did recommend a few months ago.
Yes,
you probably should. I mean, to be fair, the one that I got was only 20 quid.
Yeah.
It's all 1080 and it does 30 frames, so it's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, I probably should.
And it's USB-C as well, so that's always helpful.
Well, the weird thing about my camera is whenever I have my Xbox controller plugged in next to it, when I have it plugged in, the camera it glitches out and stuff, so...
Well, yeah, it's probably because it's reacting off the signals coming from the controller, so probably a good idea to upgrade.
Yeah, because if I'm going to do any streaming, play with the controller, I am sweating to death.
Well, surprisingly, I'm not, because it's a bit cooler today, which is quite nice.
Yeah, mine's probably alcohol related.
That's probably is the case.
We want to give chat 3 more minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chat, you got 3 minutes. And then we'll start.
Start the show, but that doesn't mean we're just going to sit here quiet.
I know, I was like,
because I was sort of half expecting that to happen there for a second.
This is we usually have 3 people, and I want 3 people again.
Yeah, I know.
Last week, week before was fun.
Yes, that was a good episode.
Fun. Yes, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
It's on YouTube.
It's on the YouTubes. Watch your stories on the YouTubes. I love saying things like I'm a boomer. I love that. Oh, get over on them YouTubes.
You are such a boomer.
Be glad I didn't wear my Deadpool hoodie today, Pete. I did that just for you.
Oh, good. I posted the link to the last episode in the chat.
Oh, good. Excellent. Tomorrow for my workout outfit, because yes, I have those. It's full Deadpool leggings.
I'm glad I don't work out there.
Deadpool compression.
Be a long way to go for me just to work out.
That's true. But it'd be worth it. And Deadpool.
Yeah, Brenton. Brenton said I could actually have been on today. Otherwise, you have to wait until October before I can.
Where you go? Are you getting a new camera or what? I'm being very Texan today. Oh, it's because Lynn's here.
That would explain a lot. That would explain a lot. Yeah. October. It's a long way to go. But anyway, I mean, we'll talk about more of that later anyway.
It's a good U2 song.
Coincide with something. What's that?
October. It's an old U2 song. It's really good.
I see.
It's when Bono learned how to play.
Oh, it's because of a roommate.
Oh. Right on.
Yes.
Is it the four-legged guy? Dogs.
I know exactly
Puppers.
what you're talking
Doggos.
about there. I'm fully aware.
Okay. 133, right?
I think that's basically us, yeah. So, right, let me get my recording ready. Actually, we're not quite there yet. Not quite. Now we are.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so recording started now. It hadn't clocked over to 10 past at that point.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right, start. 3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast Episode 133. I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
Yo.
And we are going to have a fun and loosey-goosey show today because, do I make the announcement now, Pete, or do I let you do that?
I was going to wait until the end of the episode, but I guess we'll do it now.
Oh, whoops!
Anyway, it's our last episode now for 3 weeks.
Right.
But we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode.
Yeah. But it's for a good thing, not a bad thing. Stick around. Find out.
No, I've just given up. I've had enough. I'm done. I need 3 weeks of recuperation. I'm joking.
I need help. I need a podcast co-host. Start sending in your resumes now. Or CVs.
What? Just a co-host or an editor? Organizer? Social media presence?
You have to do everything. The only thing
you're either that or you'll need a team behind you.
Yeah. Because the only thing you don't have to do is say welcome.
And drink.
As I am doing.
I mean, that's optional.
Oh my gosh, it is so warm in here, I'm dying.
Great start to the episode.
Yay! I do like to start every week asking my guests, but I don't have any guests today, how their week's been.
Only me.
Only Pete, who's not a guest, but a permanent fixture, permanent residence of the Rapid Reviews.
Piece of furniture in the house.
A piece of furniture in the Rapid Reviews podcast lore. Anyway.
I'll take that.
There you go. Pete, how has your week been?
My week's been insane.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last week of work, so I've now officially finished before I start into my new job, but we'll not talk about that anymore because that was dull. So, anyway, let's talk about games. Because I've been playing a lot over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, go for it.
So, started out by playing some Roller Drome. So, it's the game that came to PS5 and PS4 and PC a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Review ongoing, by the way, so won't give full thoughts, but I did text you early on, and I still am going to stick by this. Very strong contender for Game of the Year this year.
Which was surprising to me in some ways, but not in others, if that makes sense.
Oh, it's a very stylistic game. It's very interesting, very, very fluid, and I'm really enjoying it more than I ever thought that I would. When I saw this on the State of Play, I believe it was, I did message you and said, get a look at this game, I'm really interested in it. So it came along for review, and I thought, why not?
Right.
Yeah, I'm more blown away by it than I ever thought I would be, so that's all I'll say for now.
Ooh, I like it. I'm intrigued.
Yes, but as a result of that, has led me on to going on to PlayStation a little bit more this last couple of weeks. So, as a result of that, and having premium service, which I am not going to recommend because I think it's a terrible service at its present state, but it did give me access to some DLC and a game that I've been waiting to play for a while, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Right. I want to hear about this.
Oh, I've completed it.
How long
and
did how long was the the gameplay?
About 15 hours, I would say, but probably about 20 for me because I suck. No. No, there were a couple of moments in there that were quite challenging, actually, like a couple of combat encounters that were a little bit difficult. But I really, really enjoyed Miles Morales, and I'm going to say that I really enjoyed it more than Spider-Man.
Right.
Actually, because that was the other game that I've been playing, because straight after I finished Miles Morales, I went on and played Spider-Man.
Right. Always doing things backwards.
And yes, I've completed that as well, and I think the story is better in Miles Morales. It's more condensed, it's a lot more streamlined, and a lot more enjoyable, but there are some very cool moments in Spider-Man. It does make me a lot more excited about 2 now, though.
Right.
So that's a bit of a problem, because I'm now sitting on the edge of my seat going, is it here yet? But because they're on PlayStation Plus Premium, I am going to be playing through the DLC as well. So I've started out with the Black Cat one first.
Right, which I heard is pretty good. Have you gotten
pretty average so far, if I'm honest. I'm about an hour into it, and it's not really that great.
Right.
A lot of the same, if I'm honest.
Oh, right. Now, see, I have to admit, I mean, I think this is not a hot take. Haha. But I think that DLC... Yeah, I'll give you an example. I think DLC should always be different.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the gameplay... Like, let's say Red Dead Redemption 2, if it had ever got DLC, I would have liked that to just be an expansion of the story. But on more condensed things, I like the DLC to be different and a different experience.
I mean...
Like Skyrim and vampires, you know that... Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sort of like... what's the name of the game? Curse of the Blood Dragon, I think it was. It was like incredibly different.
Way different. Far Cry. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it is a lot of the same, really, because it's a lot of the same story structure, mission structure, and sort of stuff like that, combat encounters and all that. So it is an extension of what's already occurred, because I think one of the DLCs does come back to one of the main points that happened in the main story. So it does sort of go full circle in some respects.
Well, I will tell you what the most boring DLC I have ever played in my life ever was. And nothing has even come close to the boringness of it. That is Mothership Zeta in Fallout 3. I'm getting... Okay, audience, let us know. I'm getting some glitches over here in our video feed. Just tell me if it's coming through all right for y'all guys. But, yeah, no, Fallout 3 DLC Mothership Zeta was the most boring thing I've ever played in my life.
I've heard that a lot from people who loved Fallout 3 as well.
Yeah, it was too long. It didn't have enough stuff in it, and it didn't quite... I mean, Fallout 3, all the Fallout series is kind of out there anyway, so I can't say that, it messed with the lore, and that's a bad thing. I mean, it was too quirky, but not in a good way. Does that make sense? Like, the weapons were too out there. Too far out. Because, you know, like, in Fallout 3, there is a part where you can get... This is in the main game. You can get, like, a zapper. And
probably didn't get that far to sort of know that.
Well, you get it, or is that in New Vegas that you get the zapper? I think you can get it in New Vegas, actually.
Okay.
And then you can upgrade it, and it's a laser zapper, but it's limited use. I think once you use the ammo, it's gone. Well, Mothership Zeta is, like, just tons of laser weapons like that. And it's unlimited, and it takes the kind of novelty away of it. And they're kind of OP anyway, so...
okay, Brett's confirmed 3 had the zapper.
Okay, so it was 3. Okay. I kind of blanked out there. But, yeah, and you can upgrade it, and it becomes like this really lethal weapon instead of just like this kid's toy. But, God, I really want to play New Vegas now. Which has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so overall, I mean, audience, I'd love to hear from you, but overall, for me, that's the most boring DLC I've ever come across in the whole time I've ever played games.
trying to wonder, because I don't play that many DLCs, if I'm honest. So, I'd have to think on that. Not going to give an answer.
Well, what else have you been playing? What you been playing, Pete?
Well, that's basically about it. But I've got
what you got on the roster? Yeah.
Well, I've got a few games on the horizon that I still need to play through because
like Horizon.
No, I haven't got that to play because I'm not really wanting to play another open world game after playing Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Okay, interesting. Very
well,
interesting.
not entirely. It's just you know I'm sort of, that's like nearly 45 hours of open world games. I'm not the biggest fan of them usually, so for me to crawl through those, I need a bit of a detox from them.
But
anyway, I want to know what you've been playing, because I've been hearing some interesting things about a game that people seem to hate on the internet called Saints Row.
Oh, I thought you were going to leave it open-ended, and I was going to be like, Fallout Guys.
No.
Okay.
No, I need your hot takes about Saints Row.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now. Pull up your chair. Get comfortable. No, okay, so a little background info, because I always think that's important to flesh out things. Saints Row has been one of my favorite series. You've heard me talk about on the show. This is bona fide, not blowing smoke up. Saints Row has been one of my favorite series since I first played it. Saints Row 2 is the one that took off. Saints Row 1 was kind of generic, just, okay, I like the mini games type thing. And then Saints Row 2 was amazing. And then Saints Row 3 blew my socks off. Saints Row 4 wasn't great, but, I played it. And then got into hell and all that kind of stuff. So, what I'm saying is, I'm giving you my credentials that I am a Saints Row hardcore OG fan.
I mean, both are probably out.
Yeah, because I think it's like Old Gangster or something like that. I don't know.
Original Gangster.
Oh, that's it. Okay. This is where Pete plays a snippet of Original Gangster, the song. But, and then we get a DMC takedown.
I am not doing that. Mm-hmm. This is why I run things, not you.
Yes, it's true.
I'm the one who has to deal with the DMCAs if they ever happen.
I'm the one who knocks.
We'll not have any Breaking Bad references here.
You know what, though? I'm going to break a little bit here and say...
So you're going to go off to the side of your side discussion?
Yep, I am. So,
oh, God.
I don't like Breaking Bad. There, I said it. I don't like it. I tried it.
Yeah.
I got through... episode 3, and it's just not for me. Everyone is unlikable. And then, you know what's funny?
That's the point.
Well, see, here's what's funny. The guy that made it, I forgot his name right now.
Vince Gilligan?
Yes, him. He released a statement where he said, you know what? The further I get away from Breaking Bad man, I forgot his name, the worse he is, and I don't like him. And I was like, you wrote him, and I don't like him now. So anyway, back to what I was saying about Saints Row. Breaking Bad and Saints Row have a lot in common.
Okay.
But no, so really what I'm doing is I am giving you my background that I'm not like a fly-by-night fan. So I'm halfway through Saints Row.
Okay, sorry, let me just stop you there. All of that side road, side street, to say, I'm a fan of Saints Row.
Yes, I'm just giving you my bona fides. We've got a first timer in chat if you want to.
I know, I'm aware, but carry on.
Okay. So Saints Row, I'm halfway through. That's what I was saying. The reboot. The character creator is great. Wait, let's take a step back before I even talk about the character creator.
Yeah, I want you to acknowledge this picture that you sent.
Okay, so look at this face right now. If it doesn't break your screens, go to the
add some more pink tints, by the way.
Just put pink tint in the hair, but don't touch the face. Go to the default Asian character. This is what you get. It was so freaky.
I showed Rach that, and she also thought it was uncanny.
Yeah.
And then I told her it was the default Asian option, and she was like, what?
I didn't touch the face at all. Like, at all. I just added pink to the hair. That's it. Makeup's all the same. Everything. And face structure, everything. And it was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, to be fair, I got an incredible laugh out of that.
Yeah. Everybody did.
It was great.
I showed everyone. So I was like, okay. So already this game gets an A+ from me. So actual gameplay. The driving is great. I like the driving. I heard people were complaining about it, but Saints Row's never had great. It had better driving than GTA 4.
4.
That was the worst.
That hyper realistic driving.
Ooh. No, thank you. Yeah, I play games to have fun, not be hyper realistic.
What, where you need to turn the camera to actually be able to do a handbrake? Like, it was just a stupid. No. Let's not get into that. That's the whole thing.
No, it's just the worst driving mechanics. Well, so Saints Row driving mechanics, I actually think they've improved on them since 3. You don't do a lot of driving in 4. Because you're a superhero and you just jump around and fly.
Who needs a car when
exactly.
you can fly around?
Exactly.
I mean, Tony Stark still drove around in those Audis in the films, though, which is always a bit weird.
Yes, it is weird. Yeah, because if I could fly, I would never drive again. There you go. That's how we rescue the climate, is give everyone the ability to fly. But
yes, because we're going to create an Iron Man suit for everyone in the world. I mean, we've already seen what the internet is capable of.
It's true. Morbid time. But
oh, don't. I've tried to distance myself away from that absolute disgrace of a meme.
Oh, Pete, you have to call this episode Morbid Time because it's so old now.
No, the meme is dead. I'm not doing that.
That's what makes it great. But
I might even just name it. I will not name this after a dead meme.
Oh my gosh, just call it dead meme. But back to Saints Row for the millionth time. So anyway, here's the thing. This is the underlying problem with me with Saints Row, the new reboot, since we saw the teaser trailer and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They renamed Rim Jobs to Jim Robs.
Terrible.
And Freckle...
Not even a clever pun anymore.
No. And Freckle biatches to FBs. I almost said BFG.
The worst.
Yeah. That kind of tells you what we're dealing with. Now, storyline, it's the same. It's very typical Saints Row, because Saints Row is not big on story. A bunch of dorks try to be gangsters, and it's hilarious. That's every Saints Row game since Saints Row 2. Your protagonist is a dork. The only one that's not a dork is Gat. And since Gat is not in this, well, remember, I'm halfway through, so if there's any, like...
Yeah, but Gat was always an idiot.
Yeah, but he was really cool. Like,
yeah,
really
he was cool, but he was always an idiot.
That's why... Yeah, no spoilers. But, so, same thing. Bunch of dorks getting together, trying to run an empire. Okay, that's fun to me. I love dorks. I love building empires. But here is the thing. Gameplay is fun. Story is very basic. There's not a lot. There's nothing new here. There are a lot of homages to the old games. A lot. Yep. And I did get worried because there's a lot of, like, if you look in the windows.
Look at this.
Well, if you look in the windows of houses, you'll see JPEGs in there, and they're like JPEGs from, I think, the first Saints Row or whatever. And I started thinking, wait, people might think that this is actually the graphical standard rather than an homage. I think some of that stuff's kind of happening. And there's a lot of in-jokes. A lot. And then that's why I realized, and I posted this on Twitter, and I stand by it, which is this new Saints Row, it's not made to get new fans. It's made to go, hey, look, old fans, we can do this. Let's start a new franchise. That's my theory anyway. But my one glaring thing, which is what I just mentioned, which is there's no raunchy humor.
Yeah, that's always the disappointing part, and I had sort of had that feeling from the very first moment they showed the game off.
It's very clean. It's very... There's some cussing. Yeah, but there's some cussing, and that's cool. And there's some, like it's always been kind of pushing the limit on like LGBT things and stuff like that, and that's all. But it doesn't feel like it's pushing the limit anymore because we're it's like a common thing now, so it doesn't feel.
Well, let's not go down that rabbit hole on this particular podcast.
Well, I'm just talking about the
I know what you mean, but yeah.
But there's no potty humor. I miss
It's
that.
always like the funniest, like some of the stupidest things about the game. Like, is like how dumb they were.
They were so dumb, and that's what I miss. I miss the gun, the beatbox gun, the it was the big giant stereo.
Dubstep gun.
Dubstep, thank you. I missed that, and then okay, look, I'm gonna say I don't know if you have to beep this or not, Pete, but the dildo gun or dildo.
Oh, I'm not bleeping
weapon.
That is just
it, like those were fun. Like you would beat off zombies.
Oh.
With a dildo bat. And that was that was flipping, that was Saints Row.
Right, we have our title.
But, so now it's very clean. It's very nice. It's very, like, non-offensive, but not in like a PC way, in just we're good kids, we don't do bad things, blah, blah, blah. It's very wholesome. That's the word I'm looking for. Wholesome. Which wholesome can be good, but I miss rim jobs.
No, wholesome is... I think wholesome is dull to me. Give me some edge. I love a bit of edge.
Well, I've always maintained, and I've said this since the beginning of the show, which is I love cute mixed with, like, psycho. Like, I love that. Mm-hmm. So, you could argue that Saints Row 3 is very, very wholesome, but it's very dirty. Very dirty. And I love that.
Yes.
But there's no naughty bits. Yeah. So that's my take on Saints Row so far. I am only halfway through it. It's good, but it's not naughty. So.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of inconsistencies with story, but that's another thing that we can obviously talk about at another time.
Well, I strongly believe, here's what I strongly believe, that a lot of the people that are, not everyone now, but a lot of the people, I'd say the major people with blue checks and, major reviewers and stuff, I don't think they ever played Saints Row.
No, probably not.
Because I'm like...
I'm starting to get that feeling from some of the YouTube community.
Yeah, it's like, Saints Row was never cool. It was made as a parody of GTA.
Oh, I know it is, because I played the first and the second ones, a lot.
So fun. Anyway.
I mean, the first one had really good online to it, to be fair.
The first one
had...
Yeah, the first one for me, it had way too many... I had game-ending glitches, which is why I never finished it.
So many times. I've tried 4 different occasions to complete that game and just had game-ending glitches.
Right towards the end, every time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
I had one quite early on, actually, which is really annoying.
Ah. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it's a couple of hours in.
Oh, that would suck so bad.
It still sucks. It's just, it's not as bad as, say, 15 hours in or whatever it was.
Right. Well, now that I've rambled, do you want to read chat?
I can, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Brent put, I hate Destiny 1 DLCs. The first was just all the same missions, but backwards.
Okay. I'll give you that.
We had a first time chat from Rock'em Sock'em Hulk. Nice. Good
nice.
Name. I like what they did with the different Lego DC Supervillains DLC. I haven't played the Lego DC game, so...
Okay, now this may be me being very, like, biased or whatever, but for me, Lego can almost do no wrong. I even love the, like, kiddie Lego games.
I mean, some of them are, like, really fun, like the original Lego Skywalker's, like, game.
I love
Lego
it.
Star Wars games were
Yes! Great. They were so good.
Skywalker Saga is supposed to be really good, but I never got around to playing it.
I know, because you don't do Star Wars anymore, but...
screw Star Wars. I was contemplating, like, some stuff to, this sort of is a bit of a sidetrack, obviously, talking about something that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, but I was looking for stuff to download to watch, and I was like, shall I download The Mandalorian? And then went, no, so I hate Star Wars, I'm not going to bother wasting my time. But I did download The Boys.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I got too excited there. I really want to know your take on that.
I'll be watching that when I'm confined to a small space for at least 9 hours.
Yes, which Pete keeps alluding to. But to me, The Boys is the best superhero story within the last, I'll say, since Marvel started its, next phase.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, big problem then. If that's the case, then Devil Watches might be over. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. Sorry.
No, but I do. Yeah. I absolutely say if you like the kind of, if you're kind of tired of the rigid formula, stuff. Yeah, exactly. The Boys and Invincible. It's such a good take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, let's move on because we've rambled for nearly 25 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's that kind of episode.
It is. That's why you've called the Switch Stream the Loosey Goosey Newsy episode.
That's right, I did.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with some
actual news.
So yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, when we do a news episode, we start out with 3 shorter stories, which they're never shorter. They always take the same amount of time, and then larger stories. So these are a couple of ones. So this is an update to a story I think we did a couple of months ago. Just bring the story up. Is the Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family plan has been officially announced.
Yes.
This is. So we always cite our sources, and for those obviously listening on an audio basis, you can check those sources within the description. This comes from VGC. So it's currently available to all players in Ireland and Colombia. So these were the 2 test sites that they were using as well. So it's only available here so far. So Microsoft has officially confirmed that the Xbox Game Pass Family plan has been tested for the past month. As uncovered via a leaked image a few days ago, the new subscription tier is called Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family. Well, it really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's useful enough. It tells you exactly what's said on the tin.
I mean, it does, We used to have a phone service called Friends and Family. I don't know if y'all had that over here.
I believe... No.
Okay. It's like a long time ago.
Okay. So, carry on with the article. At the moment, it's still only available to players in Ireland and Colombia, but now it's available to all players in those countries instead of those who are just part of the Xbox Insider program. Xbox are yet to confirm when the new tier is out, due to roll out to other regions. According to the new FAQ on service on the Xbox support page, Friends and Family allows Game Pass subscribers to share their subscription with up to 4 other players. So this will be useful for those who might, in the future, be moving into a house and may not be able to afford a Game Pass subscription.
That's
might
true.
Be useful.
Yeah, it's true.
Kylie, I'll talk to you about that at some point.
Yeah.
In the future. I might need some help paying the rent.
There you go. Oh gosh. Oh, Pete, I could.
No, I'm kidding.
Go places with that.
Yes, I'm fully aware. Which is why. Yeah. It's just for full disclosure, because if they ever chase you up like Netflix do, you live in the same house.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe it was Kieran who had mentioned it would be a good idea. I rent to people because I have a big empty house. Might as well.
Yeah.
And I am kind of thinking come rent for me and get an Xbox prescription.
Prescription or subscription.
Prescription.
Okay.
Of course, right now, one of my renters is a diehard Sony pony. Yeah. So, okay. But I think it's a good idea. I really do. Because isn't it it's quite a savings,
I don't
across
know,
4 people.
I'm not sure about the pricing structure yet. I'll see if I have to look through the article to see.
Yeah, because they do.
Anyway, so the 4 other players have to live in the same country.
Yes.
I mean, I
know it's weird.
How the world currently is, does England count as Northern Ireland as well?
Oh yeah, it is all UK,
That's what I mean. Is I'm not sure. Well, what about Wales and Scotland? Okay. Anyway, so but otherwise they will receive the full Xbox Game Pass Ultimate treatment, including Live Gold, entire Game Pass library on Xbox and PC, EA Play perks and discounts. So it's a statement with the Friends and Family plan. All 5 members enjoy the benefits of Game Pass Ultimate with their own unique access to Game Pass Ultimate games, content, and benefits, regardless of what device they play on. All the people you invite can play at the same time. You can play together in the same game. Plus, you can include friends and family outside your household.
Ooh,
yes.
There you go.
Good. That's I think that's clearly a shot at the Sony thing.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, players who want to start Game Pass Friends and Family plan will have to pay more for their subscriptions. Since it hasn't been confirmed in other regions yet, full pricing information isn't official, but in Ireland it will be €21.99 per month, as opposed to the $12.99 per month.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's huge savings.
I mean, it's a €9 increase across 5 people.
Or 5 people.
So yeah, if you did that over the time, so you call it 22 per month, you could split that 5 ways quite nicely, actually.
Oh, I like it.
That's actually €4.50 each, if my quick maths is quick enough and accurate.
But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I really do.
Okay, so let's actually start to go into a bit of a breakdown about this in terms of other currencies around the world. So this is quite useful. So the official FAQ also states that players with the current Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription can convert it to Friends and Family 1. For every remaining month remaining of Game Pass, they'll get 18 days of Friends and Family. Okay. So, right, so I'm currently subscribed until 2024.
Yes. If for those who don't know the lore,
but I remember there being a bit of a caveat to this, so we might have to see whether or not that caveat still applies.
Wow.
So, were this calculation to be replicated in other regions, that would amount to roughly $24.99 per month, or £18.33 for friends and family in the US and UK, as opposed to the $14.99 or $10.99 per month.
Although currently. I do get mine from CD keys, so.
Oh, I know. Like, so a lot of people tend to do that too, and I'll probably be doing the same at some point. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's given the point of the service is to have multiple players sharing the same subscription, this would still result in an overall saving. Yes, it would. With 2 players in the group, each player's subscription would cost $12.50 or £9.16 per month. While the full 5 in the group, it would only cost around $5 or £3.66 per month. Like I said, huge savings. But obviously, remember that's a breakdown, and that's based on the current euro pricing structure model. And obviously, they might actually change it depending on region, because each currency is not exactly strong at the moment compared to the dollar.
That's for sure. We won't go into that, but...
No, we shall not. We've come to the end of that.
Just put it this way. I'm glad I have investments in dollars and in pounds.
Excellent. Good idea. probably for the best. I did find that out quite recently, how strong the dollar currently is.
Yeah, which is so funny, because when I lived in America, obviously, I wanted the dollar to be nice and mighty and strong. And now I live over here, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I remember going over to America when I was 13, and back in those days, you used to be able to get like $1.50 basically to every pound. Just mad.
Yeah.
I remember a time when it was $2 to the pound as well.
Oh, it does dip it down to there, which makes my investment portfolio shoot right up.
But believe you me, I hadn't seen that for many years.
Oh no, it's been a while. But it was £1.50 or $1.50 for a while there. But
well, talking about depressing news, let's move on to the next news story, shall we? Halo Infinite suffers fresh content delays as local co-op is axed.
Okay, so
done.
Fill in the audience because
I'm going to, because I wanted to include this to let you rant for a while.
Yep, I am definitely gonna rant.
Okay, so
give the background.
Anyway,
first.
Once again, coming from VGC, it's every source.
Yeah.
Apart from one, I'll get onto that later. So just for now, just assume it's a VGC article. Trusted source. 343 Industries have confirmed a new round of Halo Infinite content delays, as well as the cancellation of the game's local split-screen co-op mode. Oh dear. Campaign co-op, the Forge beta, and Season 3 have all been pushed back. The studio confirmed in a development update video and new content roadmap, both of which are viewable below. That's in the article. I'm not going to do that. We can't put it below because, yeah, difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway, Campaign co-op, which was previously targeting an August launch, will now arrive in November. That's not good.
No.
So too will Forge Open Beta, which was previously scheduled for September. Game's third season of content, Echoes Within's delayed until March 2020. 2023.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oof. Big problem. So, have a look through that in a moment. So, split screen couch co-op multiplayer, which had been previously been announced, has been cancelled, with 343 reallocated studio resources in order to improve and accelerate ongoing live service development and to better address player feedback and quality of life updates. I'll carry on because I can see your face.
Oh,
and I
yes.
can see the rage continually building.
1,000.
Okay. Yes. During a 30-minute video update, Joseph Staten, Sean Barron, and Brian Gerard discussed the upcoming roadmap, which stretches to June 2023. Game's winter update will run from November 8th until March 7th and will include the aforementioned Forge beta, campaign co-op, and mission replay. They still haven't included mission replay yet.
Okay. I'm still biting my tongue, Pete, because it is going to be a rant.
Okay. This update has also included new maps, Detachment and Argyle. I don't know if they're classic maps or whether they're just new.
Well, some of them are new, but yeah.
Okay. Following season, Echoes Within will be the game's third. It will include new weapons, 100-tier battle pass, and new equipment, custom game browser, new game modes, and updates to Forge Beta have also been announced for this time frame. Begins March 7th, runs till June 27th. 343 provided the first look at Halo Infinite's campaign co-op, as well as the mission replay system in an hour-long preview video released in July, ahead of the launch of the public test for the new features. But anyway, I won't go into any more.
Okay.
I will go in. We'll go into this. Brent did put, I haven't touched Infinite Campaign because I always play in co-op, so it will be a year after release before I finally get the chance to play.
Okay. Again.
The floor is yours, and grab that soapbox.
Strap on and strap in. Because there's your title, Pete.
No, the other one is better.
Okay, I do want to say a disclaimer first and foremost. Anything I'm about to say is not against the devs. The devs do what they have to do, and I feel for them. So anything I'm saying is not against developers at all. I think they take a brunt of a lot of the abuse, and it's not them. Okay, but having said that, what the F is 343 thinking? What is their problem? I do not understand. Halo 3, of course I'm partial to, and yes, I'm biased, but I still think, even objectively, Halo 3 had the best roadmap. It was not perfect. It released, it had problems on release. I think when it released, it didn't release with multiplayer or and Forge. It was
not
two
straight
things.
Away.
Two things it didn't have. I think it had co-op, but it didn't have Forge and multiplayer. But that's what I'm saying. It's still flawed and still perfect. It was flawed but still perfect in my view.
One aspect of the game was perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still, if you look overall at its legacy type thing, you can make mistakes.
Oh, of course, yeah. If you look at the overall legacy of that game, yeah, you would. But I was going to... What I'm going from there is that the game can still come out, be flawed, but there's one aspect of the game that is perfect. Exactly.
So I don't expect perfection. I don't think that other fans expect perfection. And if you do expect perfection in games, I don't know what to tell you. You're just not going to get it. Not in the current...
Why I never, ever, spoiler alert, was why I never give a 5 for a game. Ever.
Right. Like, yeah, I'm also one of those people who are very, very slow to give 5s.
That's slow. I never give them, like, ever.
Well, like, looking back, I would give Halo 3 a 5 now. At the time of release, I probably would have gave it like a 4.5, or high 4, because we don't do partials in rep reviews.
We do 0.5s.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. But having, said all of that, so 343 took over. This is for the people who don't know. 343 took over from Bungie. Bungie, who went on to do Destiny and Destiny 2. 343, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't understand them. I don't understand the lady that's in charge. I forgot her name.
Bonnie Ross.
Thank you. I can only remember Ross.
Come on now, Kiley, Xbox fangirl. You should remember the names of the people that run this company.
I can't even remember my own name. And then I think...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Phil Spencer was quoted, I think in 2016, as saying, if we ruin, Halo, we've ruined Xbox. Yeah, exactly. Because it's been the flagship, series since... franchise, since the Xbox, the original Xbox.
I mean, they went out and bought Bungie just to make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, Bungie was developing Halo for both Mac, which is weird to believe, and Microsoft. And then Microsoft bought them and said, ditch those Mac people. But, because Marathon and all that, is on Mac. But, having said all that, so 343, I don't know what they're thinking. They seem so out of touch with the populace, which is weird. It's very weird, knowing that Microsoft did so much market research on Halo 3 alone to make it and to form it into what I consider one of the most close to perfect games there is. And then to drop the ball with this, like, major crux of the series. But having said that, I do want to say that the actual, core story of Halo Infinite is good. And, I did stay up all night and I played the campaign. It was only 10 hours. I don't understand that. But okay.
It's short for an open world game, in my opinion.
It was quite short. But
I mean, it's even short for a Halo game, but
To be fair, well, I can usually play Halo 3 on, if I play Halo 3 on, like the easy one or whatever, I can do it in 8 hours. But I also have been playing that.
Hardware limitations and all that at the time. You didn't have larger discs and all that, so.
And also, I have that game memorized. You know what I mean? I could play it literally eyes closed. But so having said that, I don't know what 343 is thinking. I'm very confused. I don't know the direction they're taking. I don't understand this. Co-op is so vital to Halo. Like, I'll probably never co-op, or very rarely would I co-op nowadays. But it's what Halo was based on. Like, we had LAN parties. We brought our Xboxes over to our friend's house and hooked them up together and played, split screen 4 ways Halo 3. And I'm confused as to why they kept that out. And then here's another thing. Modders have modded it to where they can play Halo co-op split screen. And I'm confused as to why 343 hasn't done this. Again, please note, I'm not talking about the developers. I'm talking about the actual company. So I don't understand that. Forge is such a huge part. We just got a follow and I've missed it. So let me pull that up. Sorry, guys. Yes, Rock'em Sock'em Hulk has followed, so thank you so much. But I don't understand where 343 is going with this. I don't understand why there's been no DLC. I kind of thought they were going to copy Bungie because duh, and Destiny 2 because duh, that's the perfect roadmap. They've done nothing even remotely close to what Bungie's doing at all with Destiny 2. There's been no DLC with the core story. The multiplayer is okay, but it's lacking in maps and it's lacking in like some classic gameplay and stuff, like Infection and stuff like that. Forge should have been released last year. I don't understand. Like, it seems to be doing well with the beta testers. So I don't understand. Like, I almost feel like, and I'm sorry I am ranting, but this is very close to my heart. This series is. It almost feels like it's a self-sabotage. Like, why are they sabotaging this legacy that they have? And I really don't understand. I can't find the logic. I can't find the reasoning. Like, co-op is built into the code. There's people, I hate to say hackers, but you know what I mean. They've gone through the code. They found the co-op. Code is there. It worked in beta. Why? What is going on? Someone tell me. Someone, please tell me what is going on with Halo Infinite.
No idea. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on, but it's pretty clear to see that they're pretty stretched on resources in one particular aspect, because they probably didn't anticipate how big of a live service project actually is.
And Pete, you're not. That's exactly what it comes across as. Pete actually just hit the nail on the head with that, which is, this feels like someone, and it's weird because this is a Microsoft-owned company, or development team, or whatever they're called.
Xbox Game Studio.
Yeah, exactly. They're directly funded by Microsoft. And they seem to be acting like they've never done any of this before. And you could argue, well, 343 hasn't done any of this before. But they have people on their teams that have.
Yeah, they've had people that have worked on Destiny, have they not?
They do. They have people that have worked on Destiny. And then for the story, they have Joseph Staten. I don't understand this. I literally don't understand this.
I understand this. I've said this on numerous occasions before, and I'm going to say it again. The first point I don't think I've mentioned before, but you brought it up in your monologue, let's say, was this isn't exactly Microsoft's big flagship product anymore.
And
it hasn't been for a few years, I don't think. Like, they may give off that impression by putting Master Chief on the back of the box of the Series X, even though the fact of the matter was they completely delayed that game by a year and made themselves look stupid by doing so. But I don't think they consider Halo to be that big of a franchise anymore for them. They've got so many other studios elsewhere that they've got this massive portfolio of upcoming games that they know will excite people. And, well, this is the thing that I've said before. 343 at this point haven't created a good Halo game.
No.
Since they remade Halo 1. So I want to give a little bit of a footnote to that, because I'm not talking about the state of the Master Chief collection at present, because apparently, I mean, it is a very, very good collection.
I think so.
Moment.
Yeah.
At the moment. How long has it taken them to get to that point, though? When did it release? 2017?
It was quite, yeah. It's been a while.
I mean, 2013, the Xbox One came out. It might be 2015, actually.
That sounds more realistic, if I'm being honest.
Thinking about this, right? So it's been 7 years, and it's in a playable state. How many of those years where it was not a playable state? I think it was at least 2 to 3.
Yeah, it wasn't playable when it launched. It was actually a big mess, and I remember being very disappointed in that.
Of course, yeah.
But that's the thing. I've just been constantly disappointed.
Yeah.
In 343.
Look at Halo 4. While some consider that to be an all-right game.
I do. I do. To be fair, but from what I understand, reading about the background, Halo 4 was built off the back of Bungie's notes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it did so well. It really was. If I have to be honest, of all the things that have come out after Halo 3, Halo 4 was really good. Obviously, Reach was good, but that's a Bungie product.
Also bear in mind as well, you have to look at a couple of factors here. They're clearly still using, or up until Halo Infinite at this point, they were clearly still using an engine that was developed by Bungie.
Right.
That they probably didn't have that much understanding of how that engine actually worked.
It's just so rare to see a company like Microsoft, who can throw all the money at every problem, fail so bad. Just, that's it, full stop. Just underline that.
Screwed it.
They
Anyway.
really did. We have a lot of chat if you want.
Oh, I will go through it in a minute, but I've got a couple more points that I want to make in regards to this.
Go for it.
So up until obviously Halo Infinite used a new engine, they were using this old engine from Bungie and probably not much instruction on how to use it. But my counter to this is, how can you make a game so bad like Halo 5 when Bungie are actually still using that same engine for Destiny 2?
There's so much that could be said, and I still, like, I know it's unrealistic, but I'm still so upset that Sony bought Bungie.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's move on.
Yes, but if
Microsoft had their chance.
They did. If they just would have bought Bungie, we could have Master Chief as we know him,
Still be good.
And the thing is, they never had to, I mean, yes, I'm glad that Halo Infinite continued the story. Obviously, I love lore, and I love the core story, which is Cortana and Master Chief. That is the core of Halo. But they didn't have to go with that. They could have went with any of the other factions. They could have started a whole new separate story. They could have done anything.
Yep.
They have just literally dropped the ball since day one.
They have. Which comes to my biggest point. I've said this numerous times. I'll reiterate this numerous times. And this is not an attack on the person as such, because the person has done very good things for Microsoft in the past. Just think this person is completely out of depth when it comes to Halo, and that's Bonnie Ross. I think Bonnie Ross is the biggest downfall of the Halo franchise.
I really don't understand Bonnie Ross at all. Has she never played Halo? That is my first thought.
I'm starting to wonder that as well, because you look at how the TV series went and all that, and like, how could they get that so desperately wrong?
And they're like happy about it. Like they take pride in that.
So they're not like, so they're essentially like pooping on the lore to people like you who are huge fans of lore and the series itself, and sort of going, yeah, we're happy with this as the ambassadors of the Halo franchise. Whereas the people at Bungie who originally create this, whether or not they're still there, are they sitting there still seething about what kind of work they've done with this franchise?
Joseph Stat's from Bungie.
Oh, I know he is. Yeah. I'm fully aware.
And he wrote a good story. He did what he could. He was putting Band-Aids all over the place, you could tell. The core story of Halo Infinite is good. It could have been better. It should have been expanded on. He had to work with what he had. But I just don't, like, for me, as an outside observer, as a fan, but who's outside of, Microsoft and development and all that kind of stuff, I don't understand why you can't just, and this goes for all the TV shows that are based on games, all the movies that are based on games, what I'm about to say, all prequels and stuff like that. Why won't they give the fans what they want? Like, it's like almost they despise the fans, and they think if we get new fans, it's going to make us money. No, hardcore fans like me, we will drop money. I will drop money like crazy if it's a good product. Because it's not just about, let's say, the Halo TV series. It's not just about signing up for Paramount Plus or whatever it's called and giving them money. If you get a nerd fan like me who's obsessed with Halo lore and you make a good story, a good series, I will then buy not just the series, I'll go buy the soundtrack, I will buy the action figures,
Blu-rays and the stuff like that.
Yeah, like merchandise. I will buy it all. I'm a huge merchandise fan. I bought all the merchandise for Game of Thrones that you could even imagine, and it's kind of worthless at this point. To me, I mean, not financially, because they ruined Game of Thrones. If they would just put a good fan service anything out, they've got people who will shell out money, and they just don't seem to see that. They just rather see new people brings in more money. That's not true. That's not true. Make your audience happy. and you'll get a lot of money out of us. Big time.
It's making me wonder about the Mario movie as a result of this.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether or not they're going to cater to new people rather than the original fans.
If things go the way they've gone, yeah. Well, if things have gone the way they've gone the last few years, I am afraid, Pete. I really am. Sonic knew they messed up.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then is Sonic Paramount?
Yeah.
So they listened and they corrected course, and
but they didn't correct course on
Halo
at all.
That's very weird.
That's because obviously 343 and Microsoft had to have a say in it as well. But I'll go back to these chats.
Right. Yeah, because we got a lot of chats that are good.
We got to move on to the next story because that's significantly longer.
Sorry, I'm just very passionate about Halo.
No. So Brent confirmed that he said, I remember when Halo 3 launching with no Forge multiplayer in beta with only one map. So yeah. And he did agree that Halo 3 is the best, though he would put Master Chief Collection with it. Whereas I would say, which is why I brought it up, the state of it for a while. Good game now.
Oh, it is good. But I do...
Yeah, me and you have played it on numerous occasions together. It was great.
But I want to maintain for anyone out there that listens in the future or now, Halo 3 was not a perfect game at release. So you can release an imperfect game, and yet fix your legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be doing that. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. Brendan also put, it seems like 343, which was a support studio for most of its life, weren't ready to take the lead on a new game. I agree. As for an Xbox flagship IP, feel like Forza Horizon has become that. I'd say probably Forza as a whole, not just Horizon, probably at this point. I remember back in the days, because I'm old, that used to be Project Gotham Racing.
Oh, goodness.
That's
a throwback.
I haven't thought about in a while.
Yeah.
And he's also put, Microsoft now owns so many engines, they could have switched it at any point in development.
Yes.
They could have also used Unreal at any given point in that
I'd be okay with that. I would honestly be okay with it. I joke about Unreal just being an asset library and blah blah. You know what?
Yeah.
If you give me good high quality stuff, just fine, use it. I don't care anymore.
He has further reiterated, I think Bonnie is now the COO of Microsoft Game Studios second behind Phil Spencer. Will then give over the 343 to someone else then.
Yeah. She
may have already done that, but I don't know. I'm not sure at this point. But
and look, let's be honest. We're gonna lightly touch on this, Pete, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
If it has to be a woman.
Sorry, let me just. So Rock'em Sock'em Hulk, but it's sad when I just want to get these last couple.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Yeah. So sad when the Angry Birds movie might be the pinnacle of video game movies in terms of its proper story. Yeah, I'd say it's probably the closest to the actual games. Wouldn't make it a good movie though. Brent replied, "Not Sonic," and then he put Rock'em Sock'em Hold and put Sonic was fun. But the reason why I wanted to get through these, but I've had to bail. But this is an awesome show. Thanks for taking the time out to make it. Cheers,
Aww.
Much appreciated. So thanks
you.
for taking the time to listen.
Yes, absolutely. Come back and visit us anytime.
Please do. You're always welcome. Swipe your feet.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, just as you were saying before.
The lady that did Uncharted and the other stuff for Naughty Dog, what's her name?
Amy Hennig.
Okay, I was like Anne something, but no, Amy Hennig.
No, I was having a moment to try and remember.
Yeah, no, if it has to be a woman, let it be Amy Hennig. She is awesome and amazing. Put her in.
She's got her own studio now, which has been signed by PlayStation, so I think probably not.
I would throw money at her. She would make an amazing Halo.
She probably would.
Can you
Anyway,
imagine?
shall we move on to the next story?
Yes, because I'm obsessed with Halo, but yeah.
Yes, but I want to touch on this lightly because a lot of this is obviously speculation.
Right.
Nintendo Direct featuring Wind Waker and Twilight Princess is reportedly coming in September.
Yes. How do you feel about that, Pete?
I will reserve judgment until the end.
It's Pete's turn.
I will try. See, if you haven't noticed, there might be a lot of symmetry with this with these stories this week.
Very good.
Maybe done on accident at 8 o'clock this morning.
Don't tell the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, please don't, I'm not going to give too much of a peek behind the curtain, but usually about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday is when I'm putting together this show.
Now anyway. that is mostly a joke, because we do planning meetings.
Yeah, it just means that I put it all together in an actual document on Sunday.
Yes, it's true. But yes, continue on.
Anyway, a Nintendo Direct presentation focused on Zelda announcements will reportedly be held in September. That's according to GamesBeat managing editor Mike Minotti and Giant Bomb reporter. Oh, look who it is! It's Jeff Grubb. Who was speaking on a podcast this week.
All right.
This is a quote from Minotti. It said, "To be clear, guys, the one thing that we're very, very sure is being announced at the Direct are Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports for Switch." Said, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of Zelda stuff at this thing. Grubb said, I think this is like a Zelda blowout for Nintendo. Anyway, 100% there's a Nintendo Direct in September. It's that simple. There is still some uncertainty about whether or not it'll be a general direct, maybe a mini. There might be some talk of it being a partner direct, which might raise some questions, but I think these are addressed by Jeff in the next statement. He said, if they're going to have Zelda stuff there, this is not a partner direct, and those are things that we've been hearing. The specifics that were name dropped were Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD ports for the Switch. Then carry on says, which again, even had we not heard that, I would be speculating that would be happening right now while we wait for the run-up to Breath of the Wild 2. And yet we have heard that, and we've heard other things. Again, Metro Prime Remaster, that sounds like it's going to be announced at this thing. Ooh. Sorry, if these sound really weird written, it's because they're obviously been transcribed from a podcast.
Exactly.
And then third parties will be showing up, he continued. I've heard some of that as well. It's not super excited. The things that I've heard, to me, it sounds like at least a mini direct. But if it's going to have the name of the next Zelda, which seems like a distinct possibility, it sounds like it'll be a big general direct. Anyway, so Grubb said he had heard from a pretty good source that the event will be taking place the week beginning September the 12th. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are already given the HD treatment on the Wii U. Who remembers the Wii U? 13.5 million people remember the Wii U.
It was it was a good system. It just needed little tweaks, is all. I actually believe that.
And are now among just a handful of Nintendo last-gen games that haven't been ported to the Switch. Based on what he had heard about the Direct, Minotti said everything outside of the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker announcements is speculation. So they're pretty nailed on, at least on this point. But anyway, the Metro Prime thing seems like it should be happening. It's a lot of remasters to announce in one thing. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a theme here. Anyway, there's just some little stuff at the end that's not really worth adding to this. It's just closing out the article as you do. There's been some other stuff that have come out from this, but I can't remember exactly. But I think there's been a lot of talk about potential for either remasters of a lot of GameCube games, or potentially the GameCube coming to the Switch Online expansion pass.
Yes, I want to know your thoughts on this, Pete.
Okay, so the two that are obviously been involved in this podcast, Grubb and Minotti, they're very, very well known for their leaking habits. You know, obviously they work for major outlets that seem to get a lot of insiders obviously leaking some stuff, but I think they seem to have forgotten the one rule of Nintendo, and that is leak a lot of stuff, including a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, and do the
opposite. Because then they find out who the actual leakers are inside their industry, their organization.
It's true.
This is specifically a ploy by Nintendo half the time to find out who's actually leaking information. And based on the fact that how many games have leaked recently from the Switch, I'm not even saying recently, ever since the Switch was basically hacked in the very early stages.
Yeah.
They have not been able to have anything secure on that machine whatsoever. So I think this is done by Nintendo to throw a red herring in the mix. Not going to say that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker wouldn't be a good addition, because I think they are. Right. And I do think these are correct.
Right.
Just
Okay.
these two specifically.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of the other stuff is a lot of speculation, and I have to be honest, a lot of it is speculation being very disappointing for me.
Right. Okay. Because a lot of people have been talking about Ocarina of Time.
Because that's gonna it's on the Switch Online expansion pass service on the N64 anyway, so they don't need to do that.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the GameCube stuff because.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. I seem to recall a certain point, maybe even earlier this year, or even the back end of last year, where an announcement was potentially going to be made about two other systems that would come into the expansion pass service that never happened.
Right.
So why have they now moved on to a potential the GameCube? When the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance never happened.
Right. That's
These
really...
are why I feel like red herrings.
Okay, see, that's what I want to talk about. There's been a lot online about exactly what you've just said. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I'm getting to them.
Okay.
They're, I think quite a lot of these are red herrings. Like I said, I'm disappointed by some of them because a lot of the talk has been around F-Zero GX coming back. And
right.
I'm fuming about the fact that if that doesn't happen, then I'm...
a lot of people are.
Okay, so you remember the moment in Endgame with Hawkeye? Where the specific line he says,
yes,
don't give me hope. Yeah, don't give me hope. F-Zero GX is one of my favourite racing games of all time, and it is fantastically good. If they had an online in that, I'd be set.
People have been like, that's what they've been crying out for a lot.
Oh, I know.
You see that a lot online.
Even to the point where someone spent $40,000 just to invest shares in Nintendo so they could be part of the board meeting to ask that question.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's an ultimate Chad move, isn't it?
That is, actually. That's Giga Chad right there.
Oh, absolutely.
I have to agree. I have to 100% agree.
But yeah, I'm not sure about a lot of this. I mean,
I know.
The Direct itself makes sense.
Well, I was going to say, do you think the Direct is really going to happen when they assume it's going to happen? Because Nintendo likes to just poof. And then...
curveballs all over the place.
Yeah, and then prove everybody wrong. Like, they're like, oh, they're going to say, okay, Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is coming. And then they'll, like, leak... Or, no, then they'll drop, Tetris 2004 or something. You know what I mean? I'm just making that up.
I know.
But that is how Nintendo does.
Yeah.
They do a kind of, like, catfish almost,
Yeah, I mean, the most recent example is when everyone was talking about there being a main Nintendo Direct in June around the E3 period.
Yep.
They did a partner Direct. Just completely out of nowhere, did a partner Direct. And it was like a week and a half after all the E3 stuff was all happening.
So how do you...
Nintendo don't play by the rules.
No, they do not. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think there's the Direct coming.
You do think
I still
it's coming?
I can't work out whether or not this is going to be a mini or main.
Right.
I don't think it is going to be a partner Direct.
Right. I don't think so either. Not after.
I'll be honest, I'll hedge my bets on a shorter main Direct. So they're usually about 40 minutes, but I reckon this one's going to be about 30,
15,
35.
20. Oh, right, okay. It's so funny. They dropped those 15-minute
more
ones.
to announce.
But I'll tell you this. Oh, I was like, they'll drop those 15-minute ones, and the fans, quote unquote, will be so raging. They're like, oh, a Direct is coming, and then they'll drop it, and then the fans are still not happy.
This is the same discourse that Nintendo fans have every single time.
Yes!
It's like, we want a Direct, and then they're never happy with what they've got.
No, never, ever. And
that's why do you think I go into these with tempered expectations now? It's like, I have to understand that they're a business, and they are trying to sell to 100-odd million people, not just a screaming minority on Twitter.
That is a good point. That's a very, very good point, actually.
They're not your friends.
No.
They are businesses. They're not your friends. I don't care if they disappoint you. All they care about is they're going to sell some copies of games.
Yeah.
And some hardware.
Anyway. I mean,
but
it's true, though.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I think there's going to be a direct come in for sure. I
You
do
do.
think it's going to be a main one. I think it's going to be slightly shorter than normal. I wouldn't be surprised if these are packaged as one game together in a cartridge
Ooh, right.
and potentially come out around Christmas, maybe just before Pokemon comes out.
Okay. Yeah, I think, you know what? Pete has actually brought up a very, 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 very good point. We are now in September. Everything from all of the gaming companies, but most especially Nintendo, is going to be Christmas focused.
Well, it's going to be
Christmas
holiday
sales.
focused.
Yeah, holiday.
Yeah.
You're right, Pete. Let me correct that.
Yeah.
Holiday sales focused. So
Yeah, and what's on the agenda for Nintendo, really? Pokemon. That's
right,
it.
right. People are going crazy for that, but it is kind of weird though to see all of the like Ocarina of Time stuff coming up. It's almost obsessive, which I have to admit that's my favorite.
I don't understand it, to be honest.
Well, that's my favorite of the
I
new.
mean, I know
of the
it
new
is,
Zelda,
but it's on the service already. Like, it's on the expansion pass. Why do people want to spend $60 on a cartridge version of that game?
Well, we could go to Last of Us Part 1, Pete, and talk about that.
Let's not. Let's move on. Because we've still got 3 stories we're supposed to cover. I think one of these is going to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to go into the slightly shorter one anyway because...
Good idea.
I want to bring this one up because there's been a lot of stupid discourse online about this particular story.
Right, okay.
And I'm going to bait you with it.
Oh, right.
Sony and Tencent are buying From Software.
Yeah.
Or are they? Or have they?
I saw that.
That's exactly my point. So people online have been a bit dumb about this particular one. So let me read the headline as it comes from VGC.
Yes.
Sony and Tencent are buying 30% of Elden Ring Studio From Software. Doesn't mean they're buying them outright.
Right. That's
correct.
correct.
The news discourse was crazy. It was like, oh, they're buying it. They're buying From Soft. Oh, let's expect to see one of those PlayStation Studios things. No. Let's read the story and let's discuss the stupidity.
Oh, goodness.
Let's all point and laugh at idiots on the internet for 10 minutes.
Right.
Cool. Elden Ring Studio From Software has announced that it's selling shares to Sony and Tencent, which will result in them owning a combined 30% of the company. An official notice published by From Software's parent company, Not Even Trying, Kadokawa Corporation. It was announced that the new shares will be issued to Six Joy Hong Kong, subsidiary of Tencent, and Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE. According to the document, once the shares have been issued, Six Joy will own 16.25% of From Software, and Sony will own 14.09%, with Kadokawa continuing to own the remaining 69.66%.
Nice.
In the notice, Kadokawa explains that it recognises the enhancement of capabilities for the creation, development and deployment of game IP as one of the group's higher priorities. As such, it decided to allow From Software to arrange a third-party allotment to Six Joy and Sony in order to gain extra funding, which may help it publish its own games globally. Okay, I'm not going any more into this. I think that's the meat of the story.
Well, I will say this: with 30% share, they will definitely have a say in what happens.
They'll be on the board.
They'll be on the board. But it's not the same as owning. And I think people misunderstand that. Because I've seen a lot of this being released as, oh, Tencent buys From Software. And then Sony buys From Software. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely 100% think that Sony is going to buy From Software. And
it wouldn't surprise me, but obviously Tencent are now kind of standing in the way of that.
Exactly. So... And for those who don't know, this is a little fill-in for our audience. Tencent is a Chinese-owned company. Sony is a Japanese-owned company.
And From Software Japanese.
And From Software is Japanese. Japanese is very much... When they buy and sell, it's always Japanese companies.
Usually, yes.
Yeah, they're big on that. So, having said that, I do actually honestly believe that Sony will eventually own From Software. And I think that's a good move for them. I've always thought that. Tencent is going to try, as they say over here in Ireland, I don't know if this is a saying UK-wide, but they're going to get the arm in. I don't know if that's a thing or just an Irish thing.
Definitely not a thing.
Okay, they're going to get their arm in, which means they're going to try and get anything they can get out of it. You know? And I don't blame them, because From Software is huge. It's huge in an international market.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're a developer, not a publisher, and this clearly looks like they're trying to hedge their bets on becoming a publisher.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting. Tencent has really been trying. People know Tencent owns a lot of Epic type things. Tencent.
They own a lot of shares in a lot of businesses across the world.
Yeah. From a business point of view, Tencent is awesome. From a purchaser point of view, not great. But having said all of that, I feel like if Sony can just... Okay, so... Sony's not doing... Oh, God, Pete, I don't want to conflict with our future stories, but you know what? I'm going to just say it. Sony's making some really dumb decisions lately.
Well, yeah, leave it as that.
Okay.
For the moment. Okay,
I'll leave it as that. So, knowing that Sony's making some dumb decisions, Tencent could surpass them and own From Software. They could own some From Software. They have enough capital to own From Software.
They definitely do.
If Tencent buys From Software, holy crap, Pete, can you just thought exercise for a moment? What if Tencent, because Tencent has the government backing and the money backing of China to buy Sony?
No.
That would be...
They do, but it's not going to happen, I don't think.
I would honestly hope, and I don't have any investment in Sony, not personal, not financial. I would hope that Tencent doesn't ever own Sony. Mm-hmm. But they have the capability.
They do, but you also have to remember that Sony is not just the gaming arm. It's all of the arms.
Yeah.
You're not just buying Sony Computer Entertainment. You might be able to buy that subsidiary.
Well, exactly. Because Sony does...
And rename it.
Mm-hmm. You're correct. Pete is correct. Sony is so much more than just gaming. Sony makes hardware. It makes products, entertainment products, stuff like that. Movies, yes, I actually forgot.
Which then steps on Sony movies and then Tencent movies or whatever bloody production studios they're invested in.
It's hard to know with Tencent because Tencent is, let's be very honest here, Tencent is an arm of the Chinese government. That is a well-known thing, but...
Kind of like the PIS, isn't it? It's the Saudi investment.
Yes, that's it's almost identical to what Pete just said. Yes, they function the same. So I don't know. Ooh, this is gonna get spicy.
Yeah. Anyway, a couple of comments. It says it's probably just Brent just put. It's probably just the beginning. Tencent will probably buy them eventually, or Sony will. In the end, Tencent don't want Sony. They don't want hardware. Movie studios. Well, they're already invested in movie studios. They're already invested in some hardware because of Epic.
That's true. I mean, that is true. But it is like what Pete was saying, which I did forget to take into account. Tencent, I could see Tencent moving into the gaming, buying the gaming arm of Sony. I don't think Tencent wants everything else because Japan has its own laws regarding purchasing power because they're very much like if a company is going to sell in Japan, they sell to Japan first, and then if Japan refuses, then they go global. So it's... I mean,
they still go global regardless, but there's always this exclusivity period with Japan.
Exactly. So
China won't like that.
No. And people who don't know, China and Japan are kind of ancient enemies for good reasons. So it's not as straightforward as you think. Tencent has all this money. I'm just going to buy everything. No, there's some little legal ramifications type thing.
Yep, there is indeed. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes, because I want to talk about
this is an interesting story that I managed to find and post new.
Yes.
did find that not many outlets are actually covering this one, which
Mm-hmm.
is very interesting. So this is the one I was talking about. We had to cite Eurogamer for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I felt dirty and needed to shower afterwards. Anyway, look, if they're talking about it, fine. Like, we can use them because there's not. The other one was using Conor McCarr and VG247, and I thought that was even more disgusting.
Yes.
Shots fired.
There you go.
Still hasn't responded.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, that comes back to a previous episode.
It does. Go check it out. Yeah.
So this one was a bit of an interesting one. So I'm just gonna go and grab the headline because there's been some updates in this one.
Right. Okay.
So P-Cube under fire once more from indie developer claiming funds were withdrawn.
This is
Update,
a crazy
P-Cube
one.
response.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go down to the original story. It was published on the 1st of September, and I found this because of a tweet.
Yeah, I did too as
tweet.
well.
Another one of those moments where I found something related to a tweet.
I know.
The aforementioned episode that I mentioned before.
Oh, yeah. That's
yes,
true.
that would be the Daniel Lindholm episode.
Yep. Go check it out.
No, please do.
It's good.
Publisher P-Cube is under fire once again from another developer claiming funds have been withdrawn. Or withheld, sorry.
Yeah.
Withheld. Last week, Coffee Talk developer Toji Productions released a statement explaining issues with the publisher that left the team feeling manipulated and exploited. And Brent does bring this up, and glad he did. This reminds me of the Frogwares and Nacon issue. And yes, please go and check that episode out because me, you, and Brent went into a lot of detail about that particular story. That was a great episode.
Good episode.
Great episode. So now known as Corcel, the Thai developer behind Eterno Blade 2, I believe I pronounced that right.
Yeah.
Has released a damning statement against the publisher to help other indie game developers to avoid what's happened to us and inform our fans about our situation. So this one's got an interesting story. So let's strap in and read, shall we?
Strap on and strap in.
Yes. So this comes from their tweet. So I will put that P-Cube have published Eterno Blade 2 on Switch, PS4, Xbox One in Europe since 2019 in agreement with Corcel, which claims the publisher agreed to pay a minimum guarantee.
Right.
So this is the tweet itself, and I'm not going to redact anything. I will read it in full.
Right.
Deserves the attention.
Yes.
So, however, P-Cube only paid a small part of the minimum guarantee of the signing milestone by the time we sent them the game, and they never paid the remaining milestone, released a statement. We have been trying to resolve this issue with P-Cube, but were unable to reach a solution, leading us to terminate the publishing agreement around September of 2020. So this has been going on for nearly a year.
That's crazy.
About a year, 2 years now, sorry. However, P-Cube has refused to return the publishing control on the console platforms back to us and continues to sell and take all revenues from Eterno Blade 2. P-Cube offered to hand over publishing control to us only if we agreed to keep this matter secret. But we no longer wanted to be involved in any more deals with P-Cube, the statement continues. We knew something was not right, but as a small independent developer, we could not afford to pay legal fees to fight the case in another country. We have contacted each platform to ask for the return of our publishing control. So far, only Nintendo and Sony have taken our game off their European stores, and we still have not received any revenue from the sales in Europe. Because of this incident, we've had to do various additional works to recover from our financial situation. We promise that we will soon be back to patch the problems and continue to release new content for Eterno Blades 2. That's clearly an error there because they put contents.
Oh, right, yeah.
We're always thankful for everyone who have been supporting us. We want everyone to have fun with our game, satisfied with our product. We hope our fans understand our situation and hope you will continue to support us. And they put thank you so much for the understanding. They also continue on Twitter to state, we do not wish for negative and harmful action towards P-Cube.
Right.
What we want is to explain our situation to our fans, get our game back, and move on.
Right.
It also tweeted Toji Productions saying, you are not alone. So, according to this, Eurogamer contacted PQ for a statement. In response to Tojo Productions, PQ said that it had funded the developer over and above the grant, and Tojo Productions has sought for some time to unilaterally enforce unreasonable revised terms. I'm just going to see if there was more of an update that came from that. There was a much bigger statement, so should we read through, or should we have some comments about this issue first and then read their statement?
A couple of comments, I think, which is, for me, and then we'll move on to, of course, Pete in the audience if they want to add in anything.
Sure.
I think this is actually a broader conversation about who owns what. If I'm going to be honest. Who funds what.
Well, there's a whole deal about publishing rights.
Yes.
And, distributor rights. Or it's just a minefield.
I think there's a lot that goes on that we as gamers don't know and don't understand. Again, that leads back to a conversation we had a few weeks back, actually, for another episode you should go watch, which is we had a development team on.
Also, spoiler alert, you should listen to all our episodes.
Well, yes, I have to agree. We have some really good episodes out there. But a lot of people out there blame developers in general for when they don't get what they want, we'll say. This right here is a perfect example that it's not developers.
No, it's publishers.
Exactly. It's whoever has the money, and unfortunately, a lot of developers have to follow the money.
Yeah.
And then something like this happens, which I think is such a larger discussion on the nature of game as art, game as development. I was actually thinking of this the other day, to be honest. I was driving around. I was thinking about games as art, which is how I see them. Like Red Dead Redemption, as a matter of fact. Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a piece of art. It is beautiful. For me, because not everybody loves Red Dead Redemption 2, as we know. Pete, cough, cough. But what I'm saying is, for me, it is a beautiful piece of art. But Rockstar didn't put money into it to develop it further. So now this piece of art is going to fade away into the ether, however you want to say that. This is very, very similar to what Pete has just read us, that if the money's not there, the art can't persist. And I think that is actually outright depressing, if I'm honest.
It is.
Yeah.
This is where you're starting to see very small indie developers try and go it alone. They can potentially bankrupt themselves in doing so, but some of them get careers out of it.
They do.
Look at Toby Fox.
Oh gosh, yeah. Did Toby Fox?
With Nintendo again.
Yeah, but originally, did he crowdfund? Because I was wondering this the other day. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Remember we did a section on biggest crowdfunded games, I think, and Undertale was on it.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, so that was what I was thinking about the other day. He crowdfunded that.
Brent even brings that up. Speaking of Frogwares, they just crowdfunded their next game, so they will be able to self-publish going forward after their issue. So yeah, looks like a lot more people are starting to do that because it's becoming the case that a lot of these indie publishers like PQ have got a lot of skeletons in their closet when it comes to publishing, and a lot of those more are starting to come to light, and I'm starting to get very worried about the state of quite a lot of these games being told back in the day that they're, we might end up hearing more stuff about, I'm just going to throw games out there, like Braid.
Exactly.
They say, like, went on to be one of the biggest games of all time, and imagine if you heard that 50% of the revenues for that got completely withheld from the guy who made that. That would be shocking.
I mean, there's so much. That one that Kieran did the whole report on Sword.
Oh,
Iron
yes,
Sword?
I remember the
Iron. I forgot.
Song of Iron.
Song of Iron. That's it. He did that all by himself.
Yeah,
all by himself, and
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. Oh my gosh, even better example. Stardew Valley. And then of course, obviously back to Toby Fox, and then oh my gosh, Mojang, or how do you say it? Mojang. How do you say it? Mojang. Which is
do you
Minecraft.
mean Notch?
Notch. Who is a terrible person, but that's not the point.
But he made Minecraft. Like,
but he made
walked away
Minecraft.
A billionaire.
He walked away because Microsoft bought it off of him, and then
created a product that people wanted to play, and he reaped the rewards as a result by self-publishing,
which doesn't happen very often. It's very rare that something like that happens.
I'm glad you bring up rare.
Oh gosh, how did I walk right into that?
No, because they did that themselves.
They did.
They? Like, back in the day, they were just. No. Let's not talk about ukulele. I'm talking about back when. I'm talking about ages and ages ago when they were self-publishing their own games that were pretty much just paid for dumps of games that had been translated across the world, and then went, hold on, let's go and buy a Famicom, reverse engineer it, and then as a result of that, they then get a contract with Nintendo to make Donkey Kong Country.
But I know that's such a good success story.
Also, it did help that they spent like £125,000 each on a ridiculous computer that was meant for animation of film studios.
Yeah. That
nobody ever thought was ever possible for games.
I know, and then it became the standard.
Yes, they actually do go back and say, yeah, this became we knew this was going to become the industry standard, so we got in at the base level.
So I mean, but that really tells you. I mean, I'm sorry, I have an artist background, my company and all that kind of stuff. So it really comes back down to games as art, which is how I see them, and
me too.
What my thoughts were the other day, specifically about Red Dead Redemption 2. Games as I hit my microphone. Games as art, but art cannot exist without a patron.
No.
That's true from the history of whenever currency and capitalism became a thing. So video games as art, we're stuck here again. Here we are, 22, and we have these industry independent indie dev studios who are beholden to publishers who have the money. So we as gamers, as the audience, we're missing out on some of these amazing products, these amazing pieces of art, these amazing games, because the publishers or whoever holds the money just not going to do it. Just don't want to throw money at it.
No, they don't. And I'm going to bring up one more example for you, and then I'm going to read this last bit, and then we'll move on to the final story.
Yep.
Bungie. Full circle. Bring it back to Bungie.
Yes. You're right. I mean, Bungie is probably one of the biggest. Bungie brings up
one of the biggest examples.
One of the biggest examples of what constitutes a AAA studio versus an indie studio. In all essence, Bungie is indie. It's an indie studio. Was now not so much. Yeah, but now, more of what I meant by this is that Microsoft obviously lost out on Bungie because they weren't willing to give them the money to develop Destiny. Yeah, which I hope. I mean, as much as I love Microsoft and I am an Xbox fangirl, I hope they're kicking themselves.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Which is why they signed so many deals to get all of Destiny stuff on Game Pass.
They did, and it didn't work.
It did for me. It got me playing.
Well, that's true. Now, that is true to look at it that point of view. You're correct there.
Remember, I always said that I was interested in giving it a try, but I wouldn't pay money for it, and I was stuck to my word.
It's true.
I enjoyed some of it. It's just the grind I didn't enjoy.
Which I love the grind, but again, as I always say, Destiny, you need friends. You have to have friends.
I know. It's a bad joke. They're definitely not going to make that one.
Oh no, what were you going to say about grinding?
No, not yeah, exactly, move on. So Peaky issued a lengthy response to the claims, so let's
They did. It was all over on social media. But yes, continue
so
on.
the response lies below. So this, oh God, that's how long it actually was.
I would not maybe read the whole thing, but
no, I'll read
every
the first couple of
other,
paragraphs
yeah, exactly.
Right, so we enjoyed working with Corcel on our first project together, and Corcel were very happy with the success of this. We were pleased to work again with Corcel on Eternal Blade 2, and despite delays and quality issues, we endeavoured to release the game in October 2019 for them as they requested. At our post-launch meeting in January 2020, Corcel acknowledges significant product quality issues and agreed to provide critical fixes in order to make the game commercially viable. Unfortunately, these fixes never materialised and Corcel remained unresponsive. P-Cube remained prepared to pay the full guarantee for the game despite very poor reviews and sales, and to publish the PC version in line with P-Cube's option in the agreement. Corcel agreed in March 2020 to provide the PC version to P-Cube, but then proceeded to list and then release the PC version itself without further discussion with P-Cube.
Yeah.
Over the following 2 years, P-Cube proposed and sent numerous proposals and supporting agreements to revert rights to Corcel in line with their request, but these were not acknowledged by Corcel. Nevertheless, despite all of the challenges and lack of communication with Corcel, P-Cube released its rights to the console versions back to Corcel well before the end of the agreement term. We remain open to support Corcel in any way possible. I think that's probably where we'll leave it.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good summary, to be honest.
It probably was. So I'm not sure what to think in this issue, because obviously, he says, she says,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, ultimately, yeah. I think that really comes down to what we literally just said, which is developers versus publishers.
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure it was said in that previous episode as well, like with developers, is be careful with your property and your IP.
Yep. Yeah, that is something actually I want to go forth and say to anyone that's listening. God, it depends on what you want as your goal. But if you have an IP and you love that IP and you believe in that IP, I can't say, sell it to a developer.
No, I can't. I'm in my right mind to say that either.
I'm going to give an example that is not game related. It is silly, but I can't help it. It's actually a good example. So Sandman, which is a DC comic that was written way back in the 90s by Neil Gaiman. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, he's just a very prolific comic writer and then book writer.
Yeah.
So he created this property back in the 90s. It was sold, because it's a DC property, obviously. It was sold to various companies, screenwriting.
Warner.
It was sold to Warner. The most notorious one, I would say, was sold to Warner. Then Warner's treatment of it in their screenwriting was terrible and has nothing to do with the actual comic. So it folded. It didn't do well. He held on to that IP. Neil Gaiman did. He held on to it. We're 20 years later. Or 30 years later. 30 years later. Oh my gosh, Pete.
Old.
Yes, we're so old. 30 years later. Neil Gaiman, still controlling his IP, got to finally make his own product. It is now globally the number one Netflix show worldwide. And it is exactly how he wanted it to be. So having said that, my point being, if you're out there and you think, should I give up my art just to have my product made, just to make some money? This is what happens, hang on.
It is,
Hang on to your IP. Save up, get money, make the product, in this instance, of course, games, what you want it to be. That's how I feel anyway. I'm very independent. I'm very, own your own IP type person.
Sure.
Because this is a perfect example, what Pete has read through, is a perfect example of what can happen if you give up your IP.
Does happen.
And does happen frequently. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just one more for as a hypothetical in this situation. How do you think Mike Mignola feels about the two failed attempts at Hellboy?
This is a very
failed.
good point.
One's average and one's appalling.
I actually enjoyed Guillermo's version. I mean, it's not
stylistically, yes.
I was gonna say
writing wise, oh god,
it's not exactly Hellboy, but it's the closest.
Well, yeah, it's definitely better than the newer version. That was a train wreck waiting to happen.
I don't know how they got that so wrong, and also I don't know why they made it.
Yeah, I have no idea why they made it either, but yeah, as a big fan of the Hellboy property, they took proverbial dumps on those.
That reminds me.
Look, I'm going to be the first to admit I wasn't a fan of Hellboy beforehand because I didn't know of the character. But
oh, really?
since
No,
the films came out, god,
okay.
yeah.
The comics are good. Oh my gosh.
So when I saw the first trailer for Hellboy, that's when I went, okay, I'm going to go and read these stories, and I did, and I'm a huge fan now.
That's the thing. I'm sorry for our audience, but you guys love this too. I'm going to go off on a tangent. But look, we have nerds as our audience.
To love this.
Exactly. But no, that's the thing, and this is what I wish, and this kind of comes back full circle to our Halo talk, which is not developers, production studios like Warner and Disney and Sony and all this kind of stuff. If you would just listen to the fans and give the fans what they want, certain things like Hellboy and other comic book based mediums, they will take off. I mean, I know Pete doesn't love Deadpool. That's okay. That's established. But Ryan Reynolds truly loved Deadpool.
I appreciate the story behind making Deadpool.
Right, exactly.
That's the thing that I appreciate the most about it. It's just for all the
just
hype behind the film, the film was crap. But anyway.
But the point being, Ryan Reynolds was a fan before it was even a thing, and
got to play Deadpool in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then play Deadpool in a bad way again.
Yes, there you go.
A better bad way.
A better bad way, yes. Oh, I cannot wait. I can't wait for Deadpool 3. I'm not going to lie. But
I can't wait for it to be part of the MCU and me to cover it on Neverwatch and to rip it apart.
Oh my gosh. Watch, you may love it. But
no, because Disney are making it.
See, I just wonder how that's going to be. Oh my gosh.
That look of pain in your face.
I know, exactly.
Just remember the realization that Disney employs 12-year-olds to write their movies at the moment.
Look, can we just agree that Disney is crap when it comes to Marvel movies? Okay.
We will absolutely agree.
See, because, I went in... I know this is a tangent, but you know what? This is our loosey-goosey episode. We've got
one more story to cover anyway, so...
I went into Thor, Love and Thunder, being like, I'm not going to listen to the haters. Pete being a hater. I'm not,
I have good reasons.
Yeah, sometimes I don't agree with Pete.
Okay, let me tell you what my good reasons were, right? And I think it's the most important one of all. I had eyes, I have ears, and I watched the trailers.
Well, see, here's the funny thing. Pete and I disagree a lot, but when we agree, we agree we're in perfect alignment when we do agree.
We either disagree wholeheartedly or agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no in between, honestly.
And so Pete's like, no, not into... Pete was way back when the trailer was released. No, this is... I don't know. And I'm like, oh, but the trailer...
Look, buff force, dangling chains. Oh, look, keychain, look.
And I'm like...
See, there was the metaphor right there.
And I'm all like, it's rainbows, it's pretty, it's wacky, tacky, whatever his name is.
Taika Waititi being tacky Waititi.
Yeah, I can't say his name. And, this is so cool, I'm going to be so into this. And holy crap, it was terrible.
Hang on. Why has no one made that analogy about Taika Waititi yet? Tacky Waititi.
Well, there you go. Maybe someone has. It needs to be.
I'm doing it now. Look, because Thor: Love and Thunder was the tackiest thing I think I've ever watched on the screen.
It was tacky. I'm not going to disagree. I can't believe this.
It's 1980s aesthetic front.
Well, I love that. I'll tell you what I didn't like.
Giant key bowl in the middle of the bloody room.
But I'll tell you
we all know what the key bowl was for.
Yes, exactly. But I'll tell you what I didn't like about Thor: Love and Thunder. which is, okay, so I've been a Marvel Comics reader since I was 13 years old. Marvel is known for its humor and its quips. And that's great, because I love that. I love that in the comics.
I like it when it's done correctly.
Well, that's the thing. Thor Love and Thunder was not doing that thing. Like, you can have... Guardians of the Galaxy is a good example, the first one. You can have this intense emotional scene. Oh, no, Deadpool's a good example too, Pete. Intense emotional scene. And you're like, near tears. And then the next moment...
There were tense emotional scenes in Deadpool? I don't recall any.
Towards the end, and then Deadpool 2 did a little bit better. But...
yeah, Deadpool... that's where I was thinking you were probably going to mention it. Deadpool 2 probably definitely did it better.
But then you laugh in the next scene. Like, if you can do the really intense emotional and then laughing afterwards, I love that. I will watch your movie. Yeah. I will be your fan. I will support you.
Yeah, it puts you on a spectrum of emotion that's absolutely fantastic, really. Because you can go from like, bitterly low to incredible high, like within seconds.
Give me that.
That's why they call it the roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, like I hunger for that.
Yeah, me too.
Thor Love and Thunder could not handle dramatic and then comedy. They did this weird hybrid, and it was uncomfortable, and it was not good. It was not good.
Said before it's like the film was written by a 7-year-old for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no?
Ooh, look, no. Flashy thing in front of you, but we can't write emotional scenes.
Yeah, it's like Waki Taki, I can't remember his name. I'm never going to say it right.
It's going to start bordering on racism soon enough. I think we should stop.
No.
What are you be calling Tacky Wacky? Or
I can't say his name.
That's what I mean. I'm just going to start to wonder.
But I want to be very clear that I didn't like Jojo Rabbit either, which, Pete, I think you did like it.
No, Jojo Rabbit's fantastic.
Yeah, see, I didn't
But it's
like
different from, apparently it's very different from the books.
Right, which I still need to read because I think I would like the book. I don't like that jarring transition. I like the kind of smooth transition.
I see what you mean by it. I really like the premise of the film itself. And I thought it was very well acted more than anything.
I'll give you that. It is actually a well acted film. So Thor Love and Thunder though just failed so much. So that told me that Disney ain't great at Marvel films. So I don't remember what kicked that off. It was something
doesn't matter.
Video game narratives, I think.
It was probably dealing with our final story.
Probably. Go move on to the last story.
Shall we talk about big publishers?
Yes, please, because I think that's where I'm going.
Big companies.
Yes.
Because I think this is no surprise this will be the final story of this week.
Mm-hmm.
UK Watchdog recommends Activision Blizzard deal with Xbox for in-depth investigation amid competition concerns.
And this cracks me up so many levels, but go ahead, Pete.
And do you want to know the more shocking thing about this story?
What's that?
Kiley recommended this story. Big shock.
Woo!
You contributed to a news story this week.
I actually did.
I know.
I have a lot to say.
You were the first, actually. You posted this first. Usually it was me on
It's true.
Actually,
It's true.
Anyway, the UK Competition Regulators inquiry into Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard may be expanded over competition concerns. The Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, confirmed last month that it had opened an investigation into the $68.7 billion deal. The game industry's biggest ever by far. I mean, let's not determine the fact that it's one of the biggest in the world ever.
Right. 69, nice.
Nearly 69. You can't quite call it. It's 0.3 of a billion out, all right? Anyway.
Yes, because I have a lot to say.
Yes, I've got a fair bit I want to say about this as well. After gathering feedback from third parties with an interest in the proposed deal, the CMA said on Thursday that it has a number of outstanding concerns that must be addressed. This is a quote. Following our Phase 1 investigation, we are all concerned that Microsoft could use its control over popular games like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft post-merger to harm rivals, including recent and future rivals in multi-game subscription services and online cloud gaming. said Sorcher O'Carroll, senior developer of mergers at the CMA. If our current concerns are not addressed, we plan to explore this deal in an in-depth Phase 2 investigation to reach a decision that works in the interest of the UK gamers and businesses. The CMA said Microsoft and Activision Blizzard now have until September 8th to submit proposals, so in a few days' time, addressing its concerns, and that if suitable proposals are not received, then the deal will be referred to further investigation. Phase 2 investigation see the CMA appoint an independent panel to scrutinise deals in further detail and evaluate if they are more likely than not to result in a substantial lessening of competition. Anyway, in its summary of the Phase 1 of the investigation, the CMA said it is concerned that if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, it could harm rivals. We've already seen that. Anyway. It added CMA has also received evidence about the potential impact of combining Activision Blizzard with Microsoft's broader ecosystem. Microsoft already has a leading games console in the Xbox, a leading cloud platform, which is Azure, and a leading PC operating system, such as Windows OS, all of which could be important to its success in cloud gaming. The CMA is concerned that Microsoft could leverage Activision Blizzard games together with Microsoft's strength across cloud, console, and PC operating systems to damage competition in the nascent market for online cloud services. Anyway, I'm kind of bored of reading this jargon anyway.
Right.
We kind of know what it means.
Yes.
But anyway, there is a little bit of a thing that is stated by Phil Spencer from to Bloomberg.
Yep.
So in a Bloomberg interview published last week, Xbox boss Phil Spencer expressed confidence in the progress Microsoft is making towards the planned acquisition, though he admitted he is in uncharted territory given the scale of the deal. The proposed acquisition is being scrutinised by multiple regulators and concerns potential antitrust issues. Spencer told Bloomberg, "I feel good about the progress that we've been making, but I go into the process supportive of people who maybe aren't as close to the gaming industry, asking good, hard questions about what is our intent. What does this mean? If you play it out over 5 years, is it constricting a market? Is it growing a market? I've never done a $70 billion deal. I'm pretty sure most of us haven't, Phil, but carry on. So I don't know what my confidence means," he added. "I will say the discussions have seemed positive." Last week, it was claimed that Saudi Arabia has become the first regulatory authority to approve the deal. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's essentially where the article pretty much ends anyway. So, I think there was some other follow-ups to this, wasn't there?
There was.
So do you know what the follow-ups are?
Well, there was a lot of like graphics percentage, like official graphics. And it showed that Sony, surprisingly to me, owns way more of the market share than Xbox does.
It does. Well, yeah, you have to look at the fact that, every single console that Sony have released, with exception to the PlayStation 3, sold over 100 million units.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in their ecosystem. The PlayStation 4 was a huge seller for them as well.
It was. And it's crazy to think. First of all, let's establish that the CMA is just a formality. It doesn't actually determine whether Microsoft will be able to buy Activision or not, which is fine. And believe me, Microsoft has checked all of their, dotted all their I's, crossed all their T's, I think is the way they say that.
Dotted the I's, crossed the T's.
Yeah, that. Yeah. So this is really a formality more than anything. But I think I saw a graphic that was really interesting that showed if Sony didn't have COD, it would actually put it on par with Xbox instead of giving it a greater market share, which I was just like, I was actually stunned by that. But as Phil Spencer has said, they have no plans to make, COD, only on Xbox, which I think was a direct response to this CMA thing. So I think that as long as they keep touting the line that, COD is going to be open all platforms, blah, blah, blah. You know, uh, I don't think they have anything to worry about. I've never thought they've had anything to worry about, but I definitely don't think they have anything to worry about now. But it is crazy to me how the CMA just keeps hammering this, and you have to wonder, like, what's the motivation behind that? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, because obviously, like, this is a huge deal for Sony as a whole, because
Sony's been making some stupid, dumb decisions, as we mentioned at the top of the show.
We have, so they're looking at this as like oh god, we're going to lose one of our biggest third-party contributors here.
Right.
And probably understandably so as well. Like, it's a lot of money on the table here. Like,
it is.
You have to look at it in that respect. But I don't necessarily feel that having Activision Blizzard is going to be an anti-competitive thing.
I don't
because
think so.
They are a huge publisher, and they've got a huge amount of studios and IPs, and therefore, as a result, generate a lot of revenue. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the sole center of the industry.
Right.
Because you do have big publishers out there like Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, EA, and some of the aforementioned more indie-centered publishers. And that's not even taking into account the frickin' Embracer Group at the moment.
Okay, see, that's the third piece of this puzzle, of this graphic that I saw. Embracer actually has the biggest market share.
Yeah, they do.
Currently.
And this is the problem with it, is that Microsoft don't have that big of a market share in terms of gaming. They do have a huge market share when it comes to online infrastructure, cloud services, and PC hardware, like was stated in there. So whilst it may not look like it's that big of a deal, it will be a big deal come 5, 10, 15 years' time. Who knows? That could be the only way that we end up playing games, and as a result, if they are in the Xbox ecosystem and going nowhere else, you could see the potential for this being anti-competitive in some way.
But then...
but I don't necessarily think it is. Because there are so many others out there that this doesn't make it the cornerstone of the industry. Like, everyone is starting to believe it is.
Right. Like, if you look at the graphic that's been going around, Microsoft really has a small percentage share. But if you go on, like, talking about the CMA, which I don't agree with, but whatever. They can't say, they can say, but it doesn't have any power of, in the future, Microsoft is going to be the ruler of all, or whatever. No. That's not right, is how I feel.
No, it wouldn't be right to even say that.
Right, exactly. And again, I want to stress to our audience that the CMA's evaluation is strictly just procedural. It's a referendum. It doesn't have actual political weight, but it's something to think about. But it's like, really, when you see it broken down, Microsoft does not have that big of a share. No. Strictly talking gaming, as Pete said. Strictly talking gaming. Sony actually has a bigger market share, but the Embracer Group has the biggest. Especially with their latest.
It just buys up studios, that's more of what it does, so therefore gobbles up IPs as a result of it.
Exactly.
But anyway, this is coming from The Verge because this is the update to the story. Microsoft will keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for several more years beyond the existing deal.
Yep.
So they've essentially confirmed that the biggest game on the platform, the one that they were the most worried about, will stay that way. And I think this one got made public because of the CMA stuff.
I do as well. I agree with that. But it's also a good market move because think about it. There's so much involved with like COD competitions. I can't remember what they're a part of, but it's a big production when you do like COD, type things, and they would be losing out on so much money, and I just can't see Microsoft ever doing that. They would never cut that market off. No way.
Well, this is what we always said. We never felt that Call of Duty was ever going to go exclusive. I know a lot of people out there did say that.
They were afraid of it.
There was a potential that it could happen. But the fact of the matter is they're never going to do that because it's
No,
a huge market. Like, it's
exactly.
incredible. Like, and look at the. I know they're not about console wars, things like that, and all that sort of stuff,
Right.
But you remember all the Microsoft fans were getting up in arms about seeing the PlayStation Studios logo on the game on
Mhm.
MLB The Show when it was a Game Pass.
Right.
Well,
Right.
now there's going to be the reverse, where it'll be Microsoft Game
Mhm.
Studios on the PlayStation with Call of Duty,
Here's the
if this
thing.
deal goes through.
It will go through, but
It will,
here's
yeah, I'm
yeah.
certain of the
I
fact it's going to
yeah.
go through, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, those console warriors are going to throw
Well,
shade at
see,
each other, and it's going to be a reason
that's the
to throw
thing.
shade, and it'll be funny just to watch from a
Oh,
distance.
it's hilarious because here's the thing. Something we've stated on the show many times. The hardware under the hood is all the same.
Same.
You
I
know,
mean,
they
look
work
at the
together.
boring. Okay, let me bring this back. The boring show that we did, where we talked about all the innards,
Yes.
which ended up being a
One
highly
of our highest
listened
rated
shows at the
episodes.
time,
Yes.
where we went into excruciating
Yes.
detail about it.
Yes.
The only small difference was what?
Mhm.
Do you remember?
I don't remember, but yeah.
The teraflops.
Was it?
That was it.
Oh, freaking teraflops. That's
It was all
right.
about the floppage.
Which
And I
was
think
all
we even
made
made a
up.
joke about it.
We did. We did because that's why I forgot about it because it's such an inane, not important part of the ultimate discussion. Yeah, because under the hood, Xboxes have Sony parts and PlayStations have Xbox parts or
Well,
Microsoft parts,
yeah,
I should
because
say.
where do you think the Blu-ray drive comes from?
Right.
I wonder.
Exactly.
It might be from Sony.
Yeah. So it is quite hilarious to see all of these console warriors, fighting against each other. And as we move into the future, it's going to be just like Phil Spencer said. I mean, Father Phil. Just like he said.
Okay, right. I'm just gonna just say this. I'm not totally sure about Phil Spencer anymore.
Oh, I love him. But I love
No,
him even
I
more.
like him as a presence. I'm
Well,
just not sure he's cut out to be the head of
I
Xbox Gaming,
know
if I'm honest.
he's too nice, but
He's too nice. He's not cutthroat enough. And look at how
no.
many games are coming out from 2022 from Microsoft.
But it's so funny because we did an episode on here about where we read the behind the scenes emails.
Oh yeah,
For
the
the
old
Epic.
dramatic reading. Yeah.
Yeah, and Phil Spencer's emails are so wholesome and they're so nice. And I'm
They
just
are,
like,
but
I love him so
he needs to be a
much.
bit more cutthroat to run a business like Xbox Game Studios, I think.
Well, the funny thing is, his latest thing he said, which is he wants to see, everyone be cross compatible. I don't think he's wrong. I think in 10 years, it's going to be like, how like everyone drives different cars, but they're still cars? I think that's going to be how, the video game consoles are. There'll be different consoles, but they're the same under the hood. You know what I mean? They just have different names.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And I want to see the cross console compatibility because, Fall Guys is a perfect example. Being able to play with Pete, sometimes he's out walking, so he plays on his Switch. Sometimes he's at home and he plays on his PlayStation.
Most of the time I'm playing on PC.
And then PC the other time. And being able to switch up like that, I think that's
Switch.
But I really do. I think that's the future, and I embrace it.
I'd have to agree.
Haha, no pun intended. Intended for Embracer Group.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the news stories for this week.
Yes, we did a long show. We did 2 hours on news stories.
Oh, I know. We're currently on 2 hours and 2 on the recording.
Woo! Yeah, I do like what
I'll run
Brent
through
just
these
said.
last
Yeah, I was
couple
gonna
of
say,
things,
go
but
for
yeah.
this.
It says it's not unexpected that one of the antitrust boards want to probe deeper. However, I don't agree with the reasons. COD does have competition. Game Pass has competition. xCloud has competition. They shouldn't punish Microsoft for being the best at those.
I agree, 100%.
And I don't see how the acquisition has anything to do with Windows and Azure. Well, I think we've explained why we think it's going to be involved. Even after the acquisition, Microsoft will still be number 3 in gaming revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Microsoft knows COD is one of the biggest franchises that makes so much money. It would be dumb for Microsoft to make it exclusive. Yeah, we're agreeing with our points there. And Warframe will be crossplay soon. If an indie studio can do it, anyone can. Agreed.
There you go. That's it. I mean, really, if you're an up-and-coming developer / publisher, but mostly developer, go cross-platform. I mean, if you can.
Always.
Yeah, because I love being able to play with my friends. You know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we close the show out?
I guess we should, since Lee's at our 2 hours. But, Pete, we need to talk about everything.
Schedule.
Yes, the schedule. This has been a really good show, but I'm going to turn this over to Pete because there is a reason we're going on hiatus, and it's a good reason, not a scary bad reason. Pete, would you like to tell them?
Yes, the good reason is I'm quitting the show, and you'll be no,
that's not happening ever.
No, the good reason is because I'm taking some well-earned time off.
Yes, he is.
So I'm going on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually leaving the country, so it will be impossible for me to even try and do a podcast, or edit, or post any tweets, or do any of that. I will have internet. It's not like I'm going into the Outer Hebrides or something.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. But
no, I'm just saying it's not like I'm going there. I won't be in the middle of a jungle with a satellite phone.
But I mean, do know that for our audience, we did discuss the potential for doing that, and it just came down to Pete deserves a break. I mean, I deserve a break
not even just that, but time zones and shit.
Exactly.
Like that, so,
it's like
just definitely not.
Yeah, let's just take a break. It's our first real break since we started this 2 years ago. 2 years ago?
I know.
3 years
kind of. I'd say we've had little minor breaks here and there, like
but
a
nothing.
Week here and there, but nothing major. No. And yes, the schedule's been a bit off the last month or so. Things have happened. Things have been weird.
Yeah, things have been weird.
So yeah. So for the next couple of weeks, you will not see an episode on the Monday as you would usually see. Sorry about that. I need some time off.
100%.
So these coming weeks, so we will be back as of recording, potentially. Thanks, Brent. Much appreciated. Said I'm going to miss the show during the hiatus.
Yeah.
So we should potentially, tentatively be back on the 25th of September.
Which is
good. But that does lead us on to our next point. You may start seeing the schedule changing a lot more because we are going to try something out.
Ooh.
So we have made notice of one particular thing, that we are somewhat more popular to our American listeners and viewers.
We are. It's true.
So we're going to try and start times that might cater to them a little bit more. It's not going to be outrageous for UK people either. Because we have done a recording with someone in Japan, and 10 o'clock in the evening was not fun.
Oh, wow, that was a fun adventure.
Great episode.
Great episode.
Really interesting, but I was exhausted at the end
I
of it.
was so
and it
tired.
and all of that.
Well,
so
funny you should say that, Brett.
Get into that. Just shush. Yeah, me and Brian. So yeah, you're going to start seeing the things changing. So we're going to try to start experimenting with the days that the podcast is going to be streamed on Twitch, and therefore, as a result, released to the general public the next day.
Yeah.
So it might be a Monday, might be a Wednesday, might be a Friday. But we're just going to try. We are going to try some things out. We're going to throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep.
Proverbially. So we'll say once I return. The 25th will stay as normal probably, and then we'll start experimenting after that. So yeah, just keep an eye out on the socials. Those are in the outro to this show, so keep a listen out, and you know where we are. Obviously, we'll be on our personal Twitters as well as we explore this thing, because I wouldn't say we've neglected our American listeners as much, but 3 o'clock in the afternoon for most is early morning for them. So
yeah. And a lot of Americans yes, exactly. And a lot of Americans go to church on Sundays. So,
and that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up soon as well, the Gotti
episode.
Gosh. So, yeah, we need to start experimenting with that one too.
That's going to be a weird one this year, and you know it is.
No, I know. I might have a few ideas I want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about
because I'm not sure how we're going to handle this one this year.
Yeah, I don't want a repeat of last year.
Last year was crazy. Anyway, so yeah, just let me know. Next few weeks we're off.
Yeah.
Out your ears for the next few weeks. You can get a rest.
Get a little rest, but then when we come back, we are coming back hard.
So coming back refreshed.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Maybe even some life-changing news.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah. It's true. I'm excited for Pete.
Maybe.
It will be.
Anyway.
But anyway, yes, no, we're not going to do that.
Let's wrap this show on the road. It's nearly 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay.
God damn.
It's true. But anyway, we thank you so much to our audience for stopping by. And yes, Dana, I see you. Hey, was super busy today, but I wanted to at least drop by and say hi. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Yes.
Be sure to go back and watch the rest.
Yes, definitely watch the rest. You guys, go back, watch all the VODs. The VODs.
Or you can wait until tomorrow morning when it goes out on the
that too.
Of course.
Let us know if you do watch and listen. It makes us feel good.
Always.
And also let us know what you want to see in the future.
More platforms in the future.
Yeah, or
more production value on the video versions.
More ideas. You know, although we've got some ideas. But we love, feedback of any kind. So that's going to wrap it up for us. So thank you so much to our watchers and our listeners.
Hang on. Where do they find you on social media?
I forgot about that stuff, Pete. Okay, so we'll do this reverse. Okay,
if
so
yours first, yeah.
We can. That's weird. You can find me at Kiley to Greet, KLEYTHGREET on Twitter. I don't talk about anything. I just think things and then tweet them. Tweet blast. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Into the ether
that's all I do. So you're going to get poetry, you're going to get weird things, and sometimes you might get game stuff, but not always.
Or pictures of wet days.
Oh, yes. For the next, 6 weeks, I will be exploring the island of Ireland and Scotland. I'm going over to Scotland
nice.
Closer to the end of this month to my favorite place, which is Fort William. So you'll see some pictures of that. But that's really about it for me. So, Pete, where can they find you?
Pete Beckett 1 on Twitter, spelled BECKEWT, and the number 1. Keep a lookout because you'll be finding some stuff over the next few weeks, let's say.
There you go.
Like I said, I'm on holiday, so you might start seeing some pictures of me on a sunbed or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
Tune
but
in.
I've got a few reviews that are coming up over the next few weeks as well. One of them I'm particularly more proud of the fact that I'm branching out and doing something very different. I will give you the smallest of hints to the video people, but I am reviewing a phone.
Woo!
So, yes, I'm not telling you which one.
I know.
So keep an eye out. That's going to be coming out. That'll be coming out either in the next couple of weeks when I've finished it. I might even finish it whilst I'm on holiday.
Right. That's a good idea, actually.
But yes, please check out Never Watchers as well on the good and bad podcast players. We're a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast that I do with my friend Kurt.
Yeah, it's really good. It actually is.
Yeah, we're on to What If next.
Ooh, I'm excited about that, Pete. There's some What If episodes that are really good that I think should have been.
I finished it, and I'll talk to you about that afterwards. I finished it.
Well.
Yes. I can talk after this episode. Let's talk about that, actually.
Yes. I can't talk too long, though, because I drank an entire bottle of wine.
Yeah, I'm getting close to that point where I need fresh air, because I have to close my windows.
Oh, yeah, and also have a guest from Texas.
Yeah, let's close out.
All right. I want to thank our watchers and our listeners.
Yeah, you've done that. So it's just the final line.
Okay. Since you're all waiting, and you know you want to hear it, the last bit of this line, which is, thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
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 Okay, that ends.
Another stupid laugh there.
Yes, that ends our podcasty bit. So, chat. We'll hang around for a few more minutes. I do really have to pee, but, I can still
So do I. So do I. But let's get on with this.
But look, I drank an entire bottle of wine.
I know you did. I observed throughout the episode, but just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to do some stuff to make myself good to do stuff.
Okay. Oh!
I'm good.
Brent, you're right. Brent was right. Except not next week.
Yeah, I know. I've just realised that as well.
I should have said we'll see you and talk to you in 3 weeks.
No, I mean, even if people were to listen to that, like, in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
It's true.
So I wanted to bring this up. I didn't know if it was
funny.
appropriate completely during the podcast. So remember the silver dollars I got for my birthday last year? $75 each. Bought them for, selling for $300 each just a year later. That's excellent.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, very, very good.
That's
very good.
Cray.
Okay, I'm not going to go into full depths because I believe a Never Watchers episode will be dedicated solely to the entirety of the season, because that's the format change we're doing this time.
Oh, now, right. Okay.
We're actually covering the full series in one episode rather than over 3.
Right. Okay.
That would be why I've watched the whole thing.
Yes. So, I'll tell you this. I'll just say one statement, and then I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, Karen.
I think some of them could have been actual live action episodes, and they would have been awesome. And that's what I have to say about that. Pete, what are your thoughts?
I have a lot that I want to say. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible.
Yeah, because you want to watch
Paul Curtis' toes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to make a bold statement that I will definitely make again, because I don't think that's going to change. I have got this downloaded to re-watch over my holiday period as well, because we're not recording until after the holiday now. Mm-hmm. Was hoping to record tomorrow, but that just hasn't worked out, unfortunately. Yeah. So, sorry, Brent's just put, going to get started on lunch, grilling some wings. Excellent. I want to eat that.
I'm making King Ranch chicken, which is
please
Texas
don't, because last week I was in London and I went to the most amazing steak restaurant. I'm not going to divert.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to divert. I'll talk to you about that another time. It was, Jesus Christ.
We have to
celebrating
talk about
Labour Day
time.
weekend the right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So, bold statement. Just going to put this out right. It's the best thing Phase 4 has done.
Right, okay, yes. Okay, I'm actually starting to believe that.
Let's be honest here, the bar is quite low for Phase 4.
I'm depressed.
But this is the best that they've done, and I agree. There are some things that probably should get dedicated live actions, but I don't think they are going to.
No, I don't think so.
But I think there's a reason behind that, though.
Oh, right.
Because you look at what they've done so far across Phase 4, a lot of those characters have now been introduced in other movies.
Good point, actually.
Captain Carter's now in there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've had the weird Doctor Strange from Multiverse of Madness that absorbs all the powers.
Yep.
Or goes a bit mad with the Darkhold.
Yep.
You know, you got a version of one that ends up using the Darkhold to a negative effect. So you have that through line there. Obviously, the stuff like Black Panther being Star-Lord is never going to happen. You know, that's not likely. That's
like an actual what if.
But I'll be honest with you, I think that was a potential for an idea they could have had for a multiversal version had Chadwick Boseman not died.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Good point.
Yeah, so I think there was some stuff that they were gonna try and set up, and obviously, like, the biggest one is, obviously, the Watcher.
Right.
Like, you can't have something to do with Kang and not have the Watcher involved.
Right, exactly. But we've definitely said that, beforehand, because it was such a big part of the comics version.
Do you want to know what the most interesting thing's going to be about this?
What?
Obviously, the fact that we're named after the Watchers.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So Kurt finally is going to get an introduction to who the actual Watchers are.
Oh my gosh, yes, I forgot. Pete told me way back when.
Yeah, the idea behind the name was done solely on purpose.
That's right, 100%. That's true.
I knew it was going to come into play at some point. Just not like this.
That's so funny.
I will admit, stylistically speaking, like, the art style is very, very unusual. I'm a bit. I'm surprised that they went animated with it rather than actually live action.
Well, I was surprised. Here's what my thoughts were. They did that. What if happened like right when Disney got the acquisition?
Oh yeah.
And so I thought, this may be completely wrong now, left field, but I thought, oh well, they didn't.
No, Disney acquisition happened long ago.
Well, long ago, but this was the first thing that came out of it.
No, the Disney acquisition is so much longer ago than you think it was.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean,
it was like
what came out of it, like.
Yeah, but the Disney acquisition happened in 2012.
Does it really happen in 2012?
Exactly. Yeah, because like Marvel's Avengers, Avengers Assemble was like one of the first ones that was part funded by Disney.
Well, this was like to me was like the first.
It was the Star Wars acquisition that happened around 2014.
Right.
Which you might be thinking that. Which is where your timescale might be a little bit disrupted.
It might be, because Disney is terrible.
Yes, that we could agree on.
But I thought personally that Disney didn't want to invest the money into live action, which is why they went with animation, because this was kind of a like a testing the waters type thing.
Of course, yeah. I can get where they were coming from.
I never liked that it was animated, but
yeah.
Some things it made sense. Some things it made sense, but the Doctor Who one, Doctor Who. Oh my gosh, Pete. Doctor Strange one. What?
Oh my
the
God.
F? I'm so glad that did not make it into the show.
Oh, me too. You would have exposed yourself as the fake Marvel fan that you are.
Doctor Strange one. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
The one that focused purely on Doctor Strange, I think should have been live action.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen that in live action, actually.
Because it's it was very important to the whole storyline, the whole multiverse. It
really
madness.
Is, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your favourite episode out of them, though?
The zombie one, of course. 100 hands down. Yeah.
The zombie one was cool, but I think there was a couple of issues I had with that. Well,
I mean, the reason why the zombie one was my favorite was because I was around when the comic book version came out, and that was
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, at the time, zombies were not like they are now, which is just ubiquitous and everywhere. I mean, they still were a little bit. Yeah, Walking Dead hadn't been even come out, or it was in its first year or something like that.
It wasn't quite the played out crap that it is now.
Exactly. And so Marvel's versus Zombies came out, blew everyone away. Like, everyone. Blew our tiny little minds. And it was just crazy to see, just the things that came out of it. I don't want to give any spoilers away because it's quite parallel.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then to see the What If animated version was pretty on par with the actual comic. So
it was reasonably close, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. So for me, it's my favorite purely because I have a previously established kind of connection there. And then second, I would say, is the Doctor Strange one, for sure.
I did really like the Doctor Strange one, and that's not my biases as a Doctor Strange fan coming through, but that one was a particularly interesting story as well.
It really was. They did it really well.
But I don't know. I'm going to be honest here, and I'm not going to give any spoilers for it, but I think the last 3 episodes are the best as a collective.
Right? Okay. As a collective, yeah?
Yeah, like, the fact that you can't have those 3 episodes without each other.
That's true.
And
very true.
That was the thing I was the most surprised about, is I didn't think there was going to be a through line throughout the series. I thought it was just going to be throwaway episodes together and just sort of be like, what films the narrative?
Okay.
But then it sort of comes out of left field and goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong, because What If is a series in the comic books. They're not connected. What If?
Yeah, that's why I knew about that. I was like, there's no connection between these stories whatsoever. Yeah. So it did throw me off that there was.
They're just a fun, exploratory thing.
Well, they're What If. They're just.
They're literally
that's
What
the best
If.
way to describe it. Is What If. Like, they are just completely out of left field what the hell would happen if this was to happen in another universe.
Yeah, because, like, they What If would have, like, up-and-coming writers and artists work on them.
Yeah.
So they're not the highest quality of graphics and writing.
Not always, no.
Not always. I mean, there would be some, like, shining examples. But, so when What If the series was announced, I was like, oh, okay, so this is where they're going to kind of play around with some stuff. And then they connected them all, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was the same. I just did not expect it at all.
Right?
But actually, as a result of that, I do think that the Ultron episode is probably the best.
Ultron is good. It is. That is.
Oh god, that is fantastic. Actually,
I think, purely my opinion, but I think that Disney put their weakest episodes in the beginning, and then
let me have a look and see what those episodes were. So, I need to look.
I think Agent Carter wasn't Agent Carter the first one.
Yes, it was, and it was that one.
It was okay. Like I'm saying,
it was okay. It was nice to see a different version of it. Obviously, like the fact that Steve was the Peggy, but not exactly with the same skill set as Peggy.
Yeah.
Was cool enough to some degree.
Exactly.
I just felt that the pacing was all off with that episode more than anything.
I would actually agree with that. I think that. Well, that's what I think they were doing. I think they were just kind of like testing the waters, and they were putting out their weaker episodes, and then it just got stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Now, I actually Pete does not agree with this for our audience. I actually kind of think that way about WandaVision. I think WandaVision started off not weak, but at their weakest episodes are at the beginning, and then it grows.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. I just think that the series gets too hyped up and is overplayed, and it's not. The narrative throughout is actually quite terrible, and you can't exactly root with Wanda being a good person because she's indoctrinated an entire village of people.
I 100%, after going back on our old episodes, Pete, and watching where we talked about that, and then actually watching the episodes, I'm a comic book fan, as has been established since day one. Yeah. I knew that Wanda wasn't the good guy.
Yeah.
So I think for me it was easier, whereas most of the average public didn't know that, and so it didn't come across for them the way it did for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, let me just say, what if the last two episodes, not the last three, last two episodes are the best ones?
What are I remember what the last one is. What's the last two?
So the last two is What If Ultron won.
Okay, that was it.
And then the one with the Watcher, I'm not going to say anything more than that because it's a spoiler if I do.
Exactly.
But the reason why I thought it was the third, because it does play into the narrative, but it's actually kind of a weak episode, is the one with Thor was an only child.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly my point. Yeah. And you remember back to that and you go, oh, Christ.
Yeah, that was...
Interesting premise, but really badly executed.
Yeah, no. Okay. Wow, I actually forgot about that one entirely.
To be honest, the third episode actually is where it picks up strength, I think, is where the serial killer for all the Avengers. That one was kind of actually interesting.
I liked that
one. But yeah, the first two were not as interesting. So what if T'Challa was Star-Lord and what if Captain Carter was the first Avenger?
Exactly. I think those are more to just kind of say, this is a
It gets you
series
into the premise,
happening.
basically.
Exactly.
Here's your established character. We're going to flip it 180. What if this happened?
Exactly.
So, it's cool, though. I do agree. It's got some good moments in it, but I'll go into full thoughts on the Never Watches in a few weeks.
Yes, check that out. Holy crap, we're almost at 3 hours. Okay, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a guest that I need to entertain.
I know. Please say hello to Lynn when you do.
I will, absolutely. Yeah, she's so jet lagged, or she would have joined us.
Oh, no. Tell her I'm disappointed she's not got over jet lag over 3 days.
I know. It's crazy. And
I'm joking. Please don't.
It's so funny. Yes, you will.
I know.
We went out exploring, like, just our area of Ireland. And
as you do.
Yeah, as you do. And we were just walking around, and then we came home, and we just crashed. And it's like,
that's
really?
unlike you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
it was
because
like,
you decide not to venture out apart from to the gym.
I was thinking, I do harder workouts in the gym than this, and I still just crashed.
Brilliant.
But hopefully
Excellent.
we'll get to places like Cork and all kinds of places this time. I was gonna say this year. That's not what I meant. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up because I did drink an entire bottle of wine.
You did.
And
I've just remembered I need to do something for my holiday.
Oh, more packing?
No, visa stuff.
Oh yes, please do that, Pete. And definitely.
Yeah, it's because it's 72 hours and it's now finally open, so I can.
Right. Okay. Well, I want our audience to stay tuned to Pete's adventures or misadventures.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come back a completely different shade.
Well, you may do that. You'll be a different person, that's for sure.
Well, if I go to the frigging Caribbean, I definitely should.
Yes. Post pictures. Send me pictures.
Yeah, that's what I meant earlier by the confined space for 9 hours.
Yes.
Got plenty of time to watch through The Boys. And
yep. Definitely watch The Boys. Oh my gosh, yes.
I've also downloaded Lightyear to watch with Rachel.
I want to know. Just tell me. I haven't watched it. You tell me. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I will do.
Okay.
I will try.
We will see everyone, well, in 3 weeks.
25th of September.
Yep.
Mark it in your calendars, peoples.
Yep.
Also, just before we go, I found out not long before this. Yeah, I'm going to put an expletive in this. I don't give a rat's. I found out the fucking Street Fighter 6 is at EGX this year. I'm so pissed.
Oh, that's too funny. That is
the one
too
time
funny.
I decide not to try and apply for a friggin' press pass. And it's going to be the one game that I freaking want to play.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you in 3 weeks.
In the next 3 weeks. We'll see you in the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.